came here to be scared.
Halloween.
Spirits of darkness, I command you to rise from your graves. I implore your release from eternal torment.
Mr. Jack will snap your spine, cut you in half with a scaly vine.
The killer left her body in the park for 3 days. They thought she was a freaking prop.
Some people are just evil.
Monster's real.
Tonight's the night.
Demons, arise.
Yes, y'all, it's going down right now. Episode 228 of the Triple Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast is coming at you live and direct with the Cinema Wasteland crew. Of course, we have the Mexican in the house, JP. And we also have the grumpy drunk old bastard, Mr. Parka, aka Dave, representing up in the studio tonight. And of course, I be the host, your Canadian cannibal, Moodz. Yeah. What's going on, homies?
You, Army Hammer over there? Canadian cannibal, Army Hammer? Is he Canadian?
Yes, I am. What is going on, dudes, man? We are finally back in the house, man. I know it has been way too long. It's been roughly 5 months, and this is definitely the latest we've come back for the new season.
Yeah.
It probably
for
has been 6 months. I mean, we used to come back right at the beginning of September, and then it used to be like the middle of September, and then it became the end of September. Apparently now it's the end of October. So,
yeah. Well, to be fair, we were supposed to come back after the Wasteland trip, but did I have an issue that week?
Yeah.
You always got an issue, man.
That's the thing with that people don't tend to realize. And we talked about this a million times on the podcast. You know, even though there's three of us, it is still hard to get together on certain times. We have lives, we have jobs, we have commitments, right?
And we hate recording on weekends because literally that's our time to go out and do shit. So it's like, right?
Well, to be honest, the weekends are like the poorest time for me because I've got a kid that plays sports and I'm just busy all day. It sucks. I just have no time to do shit like that. So.
Since I'm a drunk now, man, I want to go out and drink on the weekends.
right.
Well, I'm still recovering from Wasteland, though, man.
Oh, but
I think I died.
All excuses aside, we are back.
Died.
We are back, and this is episode 228, and we're coming back with our annual Halloween show. I'm not sure exactly what it is. It's like listener's choice volume, whatever. The JP knows what the fuck it is. So Halloween show, man. We have The Midnight Hour from 1985, Jacko from 1995, and we've got Hellfest from 2018. Hellfest for myself was a first-time watch, so I always look forward to these shows. I like the Halloween shows. I like all the holiday theme shows, the Christmas shows, the Halloween shows. That's really all we ever do. I don't think have we ever done like a specific Easter show before? I don't think so.
Hell no. Is there any Easter movies?
No,
there's a bunch, yeah.
The thing is, there is
we can do Easter. What the fuck is the one Dustin did? Easter Casket.
Yeah, there's Easter Cat, but then there's that whole Kill East Bunny, whatever. There's like a whole trilogy of those movies. There's tons
Easter Bunny Bloodbath.
Yeah, dude. There's a lot of killer bunny movies.
Easter Casket's good.
Easter Casket is really good, actually.
I'm in it. It's good.
Yeah. It's a very unique idea. Like a lot of Dustin films. But yeah, no, there's a lot of killer Easter bunny type films that are pretty bad, actually, to be honest. I have a few of them. Maybe we should do that this year. We should do that.
We've never done St. Patrick's Day. Well, we did. I think did we do Leprechaun?
We did a Leprechaun movie.
No, we did the Leprechaun franchise specifically.
St. Patrick's?
I think it was. I think it was around the time. It was around the time. Yeah.
Well, what would you do besides the Leprechaun? Grabbers, and what other Irish horror movies are there?
Well, there's the Leprechaun's Game.
We're not watching no
those.
fake ass Leprechaun movies.
And
Leprechaun
then
movies are
there's,
bad enough without
Red
having
Clover,
rip-offs of them,
which is
dude.
another
Postmaster
Leprechaun
P.
movie.
No, but it's like it's bad enough you got to watch the Leprechaun movies. Now you got to watch rip-offs of the Leprechaun movies.
Right.
That's too
Although
much.
the reboot of the Leprechaun movie the franchise was actually really good. I thought
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh yeah.
It was decent.
I'd like
man.
to see another one.
And it was the guy from Astron 6 that did it, and
Steve Kastansky.
Steve Kastansky, man, and Canadian dudes, and it came out pretty good, man. I was surprised, but
Did Psycho Gorman as well, man.
oh, dude, favorite film of last year, both of ours, right?
Yeah,
There
for
you go.
sure. Nothing else in common that year except Psycho Gorman.
I know, it's so strange. It's so funny. We line up so much on past, like on retro films, but then when it comes to new shit, man, we're like all over the map, dude. It's so weird that you and JP line up a
Unpredictable.
lot more. It's so weird. I don't know.
Yeah, it is kind of weird.
It is weird.
honestly.
We should actually let the people know this is going to be obviously the Halloween show, and then we're jumping right into November, which of course is Italian Horror Month, and we might as well just announce to the people what directors that we are going to be doing.
Yes.
So JP, do you want to actually let the people at home know what we are doing?
Yeah. So we are doing Lucio Fulci 3. This is the only person to get 3 besides Argento, who had 6. With a potential 7th in the future. The films picked, this is my pick. I picked The Psychic. I picked Don't Torture a Duckling and Lizard in a Woman's Skin, which I've seen all but The Psychic.
They're all great.
Right.
Yeah, those are like older Fulci films.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, those are
Yeah,
real,
The Psychic's underrated.
Those are solid picks because I think those are 3 films that I think a lot of even Fulci fans may have not even seen. So,
You
Yeah,
put Don't Torture a Duckling on there?
yeah.
Yeah, Don't Torture
Yeah.
a Duckling.
Which of course
I
was
talked about it briefly with 72.
Yeah, well, I think
72?
it was my favorite film of 72. wasn't it?
72.
Yeah.
It made my top 100 when I did that Exploding Heads list. It's in my top 100 favorite horror films. Don't Torture a Duckling.
Yeah, it's a
Made
ballsy
my
fucking
top
movie.
10 is 72 as
It's top 5 Fulci.
It's a very
It's really
ballsy
good.
film. I think people don't even understand how ballsy that movie was for the
Oh,
time
yeah,
it
for
was
sure.
made. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to revisiting that one because I've only seen it the one time that we did the 72 show, and I really like when I look at all the Fulci films I've seen, it's one of my favorites that I've seen besides like Zombie and like City of the Living Dead and The Beyond.
Right.
And then Dave picked Umberto Lenzi.
Yep. This is the second Lenzi show, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And what were the titles?
There's a trend here. We're coming back around. We're coming back around.
I think I picked Eyeball, which I've never seen,
Yeah.
7 Bloodstained Orchids, and Ghost House. All 3 Fulci, Lenzi movies that I haven't seen. 3 Blind Spots. I've seen probably like 15 Lenzi movies, but for some reason I haven't seen a couple of his big ones. So
You know the
I think
funny thing
Eyeball,
I've
about
Ghost
seen
House.
those except for Eyeball. I haven't seen that.
I've seen Eyeball, Eyeball's cool. Orchids is cool. I've seen Ghost House way too many times. I even have a Ghost House shirt. That's how much I love
I've
that.
seen Ghost House a couple times.
Ghost House looks like pure fun trash. So
It is.
I'm totally
It
into
is.
It's totally.
It
You know,
It just looks like
it's
trash.
going to be like a 180 when you review Eyeball and Orchids, and then you go to that one. It's like a different person did that movie.
Oh, he directed the Hell's Gate too.
Yeah, that was one of the Fulci Presents films, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think so. I didn't know that. And he also did House of Lost Shadow. He did 2 of the House movies, and Fulci did the other 2.
Yeah.
He did House of Lost Souls, House of Witchcraft, and then Fulci did the Sweet House of Horrors and the House of Clocks.
I'm hoping those.
We should do all 4 of those.
I'm hoping that we know that House of Clocks is getting a Blu-ray pretty soon.
I feel like Severin will do the rest.
I hope that Lenzi's films get releases too, because I have like the UK Vipco releases of those Lenzi films, and they are trash bags. And it's like the only way to get them too, man. Like there's like no releases for those movies, unfortunately.
Yeah, I have those too, and I bet they're trash.
They are. They're like full screen and they're really muddy looking. I think they're just VHS transfers. Like,
Dude,
like
Vipco
total
is
Vipco
the bottom
shit.
of the barrel.
Oh, Vipco is like
It's like cheesy flicks.
Yeah, people think it makes cheesy flicks look like Criterion for fuck's sake. Man.
That should be on their fucking website. Makes cheesy flicks look like Criterion.
Oh Lord.
Makes Shameless look less shameless. That's what it should be.
Right.
No, not Shameless. What was that? Mia Communications was
Oh,
like the
my
one that was kind of like not a real company, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they did some poor transfers, but they put out good movies with poor transfers. It was so frustrating.
Like it was like a gray market. It was iffy. Shameless was a real company. I forgot, but some of their releases were poop too.
Yeah.
The UK company Shameless.
Yeah, it was iffy.
Yeah,
they had cool yellow cases.
Well, that company was a weird one because it started out as No Shame, and then No Shame in Region 1 here went out of business, and it became Maya Communications. It was like the same people that restarted it, but it was kind of more gray market. And then
did it become 1-7 movies? Is that the same company?
It is the same company, and it became 1-7, and they only put out a few releases, and then that went to defunct or whatever you want to call it.
I still think it's around because like last year I got this weird South American movie that was like a Brazilian or something, fucking basically like a Death Wish style thing that just like it was just like a rape fest.
And it was on 1-7?
Rape everywhere. Yeah,
weird.
I don't know what it was called. It literally was called like the Rape of the Virgins or something, and it was just sleazy.
Oh, crazy, man! I have a few.
My review was the main guy in here reminds me of Charles Bronson as a dry cleaner, and he's very not good at his job. So it's like, oh, what? Let me find it.
No, that's a movie I actually want to see.
I'll find the review. Let me find out.
The most badass dry cleaner in the history of dry cleaners. That's amazing.
Well, he sucked at it. I can't find it. Fucking this movie right here. What the fuck was it called? It was like Rape of the Virgins. It was real nasty. Like it was real trashy. Like I was just like, is this for real?
That's crazy. Interesting. Yeah, it's the same company, and it's very sketchy. I mean, if you keep like, going under and then reopening, and like, there's some shit going on there, man.
They're probably getting
it's like the
so that it's like a blanket company. They just start a new one afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the equivalent to like when like somebody like moves into the country and they have to take over their like brother's business so they can be tax exempt. They just keep doing that. Tax exempt for like forever.
Do you remember when Charles Band didn't own the rights to demonic toys in the U.S.?
So kangaroo thing.
So he released the Spanish version, but like damn well that shit was never put out.
It was Australian because they were kangaroo video.
Right.
No, that too. But the actual DVD of demonic toys is called like something Juggernauts or something like that, and it's but it was never released outside of the U.S. But that was just his way of saying, oh well, we're not releasing it here, but you could buy it on their website here. Right. And it was like the Mexico version or Mexican version or Spanish version.
So stupid. That's totally Charles Band in a nutshell, right there. Really
yeah, for sure.
I can't find this fucking movie for the life of me anymore. I was trying to find my review.
So, and then Moodz actually picked a very interesting director. His name Moodz?
Luciano Onetti? I think it's Onetti is how you pronounce it. Luciano Onetti. He's actually not a retro director. He started directing films roughly 10, 12 years ago or something like that. So he's modern, which is probably going to be the first time that we've done any modern Italian directors in this series. But it's a guy that I've been very interested in, and he did a shorter film called Sonno Profondo in 2013. I think it's roughly about an hour long. And then he did Francesca, which I think most people might be familiar with. It was released.
I've seen that one.
It was released by Unearthed Films. It got a really nice like triple disc and stuff like that. And it seemed like it was pretty popular when it came out in 2015. I think people really liked it. It's a modern giallo, shot very Italian. And then he put out a film in 2018 called Abracadabra, which was released by Cauldron. Recently gave that one a release. So these movies all have physical releases. Profondo was released. I'm not sure what the company that released that one. Do you remember what that was, Dave? It's only released on DVD. The Sonno Profondo.
Oh, is that Brink? Brink 7?
Yeah, it was Brink. That's right. So Brink released that.
Brink. It's just called Brink.
Yeah, it is Brink, and I think it's just DVD only. But these movies all do have releases. I know he put out another movie recently. Unearthed put out
Where the Water's Left Behind or something. That's his worst movie. I've seen all 4 of his movies. That one I don't care for.
That's the one I haven't seen, and I heard from everybody that it's not good. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
It's a kind of a half-assed Texas Chainsaw ripoff with a great backdrop. It just doesn't ever come together for me. And it was just like, it felt like it came here too late. It should have been like, it should have came here right when it was released. And it just took too long. It missed its point. Oh, I found that review for me. It's called The Abusers of Virgin Girls on Letterboxd. So it has a different name. It says, the hero, I put hero in fucking parentheses, the hero of this movie runs a laundromat. He sort of looks like Vincent Price and comes across as a blue-collar version of Paul Casey, except way less effective. That means that nearly everyone in this movie is raped. Paul Casey's, from Death Wish. No, seriously, I was just like they try to stop it. It's just like people just get beat up and everybody gets molested in it.
Damn.
Like, I think the bad guys are just kidnapping virgin girls. Huh? That's from 1/7.
I
think it is Brazilian. Yeah. Did you ever see those South American exploitation movies? They're fucking ruthless.
I don't think I've seen like any of them. I would have to really think about it, but I don't know. But like, I don't know what's more funny: the fact that like this premise of this movie, or the fact that 1/7's still putting out fucking movies. It's crazy. So bizarre. That's a weird company, man. Yeah. So
I'm not sure that movie's fit for human consumption, to be honest.
I swear
it's sure no Rape Man.
I swear I remember you talking about this. I watch a lot of your review channel, your weekly reviews. So who knows? Too many movies to remember. And JP, who comes after my guy?
The fourth one is Sergio Martino 2. This is I actually surprised that we hadn't done more of his films. I think he make all of our top 50 directors.
He made mine.
He was on mine.
Yeah, mine too.
And so is Lenzi and Fulci as well.
Yeah,
I think mine too. Actually,
I swear I had like 11 or 12 Italian directors in my list or something.
I had a
crazy.
surprisingly high number of Italian directors. Like before I sat down to make the list, I knew like Argento and Fulci would probably make it, but I was thinking back and I'm like, man, I really like a lot of these guys' movies that I've seen, and thanks to Italian Horror Month mostly, because as you know, when we started this, I'd seen like 2 Italian films. And now I've seen a ton. And I was telling the guys before the show, after this one, it'll bring us to 99 reviewed Italian films for Italian Horror Month, which is just insane when you think about it, that we've covered that much in doing
Wayne Gretzky.
One time a year.
Every Canadian listening to the show just went, yeah, they're at Wayne Gretzky. That's just how Canadians think. But yeah, no, that's crazy, man. Almost 100, and I think we could probably make it 100. Why not?
Yeah. Or, I mean, it could be 100. It would still be 100 next year, too.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
But, so, the films for Martino are All the Colors of the Dark. And then the other 2 I haven't seen. I can't remember the titles, but Dave, you know them.
I think it's All the Colors of the Dark, right? The Strange Vice of Mrs. Worth. And is it Cases Scorpion's Tail?
Yeah, I believe so.
Cases
I think so. I think so. That's the good one with George Hilton. He's in all those. No, but Strange Vice is Edwidge Fenwick, right? I think it might be the best one. That might be my favorite of his.
This is a really, really good Italian month this year, because we always usually have one director where it's like there's a bunch of stinkers, or maybe there's a stinker or 2 in the other
Sergio
ones.
fucking did Garoni that one year, and I was like, I'm out on that. I'd recently seen 2 of those movies. I was like, I'm out, bro. I'm not doing those again.
Oh man, I know that Garoni was a tough one, man. Those Nazi exploitation films are rough. They are honestly rough.
They're very rarely.
Yeah, but the Django one was pretty cool.
Yeah,
that was cool.
That's a fun movie. Yeah, but yeah, I guess when you wrap yourself around and you start doing part 2s and 3s of these directors, I mean, really, you can't go wrong with these guys. So, yeah.
No, this is a really solid line. This is probably one of the better lineups since like the first couple years.
Yeah.
What was your first year? Argento, Fulci, and Bava.
Argento, Fulci, Bava, and Save.
Michele Soave, yeah, it's a great lineup.
Yeah, man, really Suave. It's too bad we couldn't do a part 2 for Suave, man. I mean,
I know, because we missed
the sect.
Yeah, we
covered it in 91.
Yeah. No, it sucks that he really didn't do any more horror like he did TV and stuff. Which, because like, I mean, he's 4 for 4 for I think. You guys would agree with that.
I even like the documentary he did about Argento.
The World of Horror. Did he direct that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly think that we should do a one-off, guys that only had one great film, and do like what is that movie, Dead Waters or Dark Waters? That one, Michael Cano. That movie's fucking amazing.
Yeah, well, I definitely thought of doing like, not necessarily a director spot like light, but like something like that where we pick 3 Italian films. Eventually, you're gonna run out of like people to do that are like worth doing. And
have you guys done
you're missing a lot of stuff that only have 2 films or something.
Did we do?
Have you done Romano Pupi? Have
No.
you done him? He's done a bunch of movies. He's done a lot, man. He worked in the '90s too. Because when we were going through those retro years, I've watched a couple movies of his, like the neighbor friend. And so I watched like 2 or 3 of his movies. So
I
dude's
actually
been working
mentioned
forever.
him when we were talking about who to pick because
He's definitely
we
one
haven't
that you should
him
pick.
yet.
I'd really like to rewatch Zedder. I haven't seen that since I was a kid.
Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
talked about doing him a couple years back, and it just never materialized. Because
And he did House of Laughing Windows too, right?
Yeah, and I have those movies.
I should have picked that guy.
Yeah, there's a couple of films that I think I've even
That
seen.
movie needs a
from-
Blu-ray, man.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I've been holding off all this time.
No, I've got like the old like Shameless DVD of that shit.
Pupi
man.
Avati. Romano
Yeah.
Pupi is the actor. I got it mixed up.
I know
Yeah,
Zedder's
got it
one of
mixed up.
Zedder's one of those films that like always mindfucks people because it totally represents itself as being like a zombie film, but it like completely isn't. It's like the
Pupi
artwork
Avati is still making films to this day.
That's crazy. He's got to be getting fucking old, man.
Yeah, he's got a bunch. House of Laughing Windows, Zedder. Yeah, he's got a handful. Childhood Friend.
Those are the films I'm familiar with, the first 2 there, for sure.
And then Arcane Sorcerer, we could finally...
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
one I've never
That's
been able to
actually
find.
List.
Never been
Yeah,
able to
we're-
find. Yeah, that one needs a release. I've heard from people that it's really good. I think Brandon actually mentioned it one time that it was really good.
Yeah,
So-
when we did 96, I tried to find it and I couldn't.
How did like he
That was a
watched
lot.
it, but like I mean, it was like kind of in an infancy of like still trying to find films on the internet at that time. And that was one that
It's
I
got
think
an
he
AK
watched,
name.
but he couldn't send it to us or some shit. I don't know. It was a long time
The
ago.
Mysterious Enchanter. I have it, actually.
Really
Oh, that's good.
I have a copy of it, yeah.
crazy shit, man. Yeah, so that is a pretty damn good lineup for the 2022 Italian Horror Month. Looking very, very forward to this. So this is going to be some fun shows, and then we're going to get into December, and I guess it'll be Christmas. It just goes so quick. It'll be we got Christmas and fucking year-end show, which will be in January. So that's just kind of a rough idea. I don't know what we're going to have coming up for shows.
Yeah.
So in December, but we'll have to knock out a few there.
Are we going to be forced to watch the Christmas ones we didn't watch last time?
I was actually thinking about that.
You know
Those
what?
were good movies.
I forgot that we never got to do the Christmas show last year because shit just kept falling through, man. It's a tough part of the year, and yeah.
It was Calvert.
Elves, Calvert, and something else.
It was definitely Elves and Calvert. I don't remember what the other one was.
Oh, it was Silent Night, Bloody Night.
Oh, the original?
Which is solid.
Because I watched all the fucking movies twice. Because you guys.
Shit.
JP almost recorded it just us two, and we were like, "Fuck it, let's not."
Maybe we'll pick different ones this year and then go back to those next year or something.
Just throw one in. Throw one then in.
Yeah.
So we don't have to. Let's throw one in there. Calvert or fucking We should wait till Calvert gets a Blu-ray. Has it got a Blu-ray yet?
Yeah.
It's gonna happen eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know of one. It definitely doesn't have a Region 1, for sure.
Altered Innocence has got that fucking movie. It should. They should.
Right.
Like, they put all the other Korean movies by that director out. It's like, why not Calvert?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the beauty of those sister labels on the Vinegar Syndrome site, man. They're dropping some good shit, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. I heard Amityville Curse slipcover already sold out. I'm like, Jesus.
You know what? I didn't even pick. It's funny because that's like on the Canadian label because I forgot the movie was Canadian. I was like, shit, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I haven't bought any of the Canadian label ones, but I don't know. That movie sucks anyways. So people are just
I'm
like,
getting it because I have all the other ones.
I know.
That's the
I'll-
only
I got
one
it.
and the
that's
thing is, I
classic
didn't care
one.
about the slip. Like I was like, you know what? I'll just pick it up on a sale. That's like a total sale item for me. So I'm like, I don't give a fuck about the slipcover. Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't care about the
when you get into the later official Amityville films, it's like whatever. It is what it is, man.
I honestly like them. I've never seen that one, but I like all the other ones.
I mean, they're more enjoyable to watch than, say, like the Howling sequels or some shit. So, but
yeah.
We did bring up Cinema Wasteland
Yes.
a little bit earlier. We should kind of recap it a little bit. It was an interesting year. I just want to give a big shout out to all the Patreoners that came out and actually hung out with us and stuff. Who was there? Dan the cameraman,
Mason
and
Tyler.
Who else was there?
There was actually a lot of people there that I didn't. I just came back. I went like pee or something. I come back and there's like a bunch of people there that I didn't know.
Yeah.
I missed.
Yeah.
Sorry, my mic was acting up right there for a second.
Yeah, it was being a little bit a little sketchy there. It was a really, really damn fun year, man. It was a weird year. So this is my third time at Wasteland, and this is the first year that we didn't have like a huge kind of like.
Oh, Taylor was there too. Forgot about her.
Right. Yeah. Taylor was there too.
It was Mason, Dan, Tyler, Taylor.
Yeah.
All showed up.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like the first year the party was kind of like in the lounge area, like the bar area. It wasn't like in the front door.
We were the fucking party, I felt like.
It was.
Oh,
it was
for sure.
It felt like it was a little bit more relaxed for everybody else, but like the people that hung out with us at Wasteland was like, it was fun. Like we kind of gave her, man. Like Dave really gave her. It was an interesting side to see of Mr. Dave over here. He held it together better than I thought he would.
Complete opposite when I'm drinking.
Yeah,
I'm very friendly.
You held it together better because I thought you were just going to get so trashy. You're like, okay, this guy's going to be out. But because I think it was a Saturday, you had a few beers and you just kind of cut yourself off. And then we went to that like hibachi place and then it was, got the guts full of.
I had 2 or 3 drinks there.
Yeah. But it was really fun, man. I felt like the actual, like the show, like the floor, it was really mild this year. It was like, it didn't seem like there was a lot of people. It was, but I kind of like that though for like shopping and meeting people and stuff. Like there's no lineups for any.
Yeah, you don't feel pressured to like meet the actors and spend money on that, and you could buy like Blu-rays and shirts instead.
Yeah. Well, you could actually shop, like, you could get up there and actually see what you're trying to get and stuff. You go to some conventions, it's just so overcrowded, you can't get in there and shit like that. But that's what I like about Wasteland. I've never really had a big problem with crowds and not being able to get in there and stuff. But I got what I intended for, and I met some cool people. It was awesome. It was really cool to finally meet JP in person. We've been friends for 10 years and finally met in person. I've met Dave before briefly at Wasteland years ago.
Yeah, it was honestly like just fucking so awesome, dude. Like me and Carly had a blast.
Yeah.
It was like it couldn't have been better, like in terms of like what I was hoping to get out of it, like meeting you guys and stuff. And
we had to have fun.
Yeah.
Those people came from all across the country and shit. Everybody's like, yeah, we're gonna fucking get crazy.
Right. Well, it was funny when I was explaining to people where I come from, because they're like, oh yeah, you're Canadian. I think a lot of people think I'm just north of where we are in Ohio.
Right over New York City or some shit, right?
So then I explained, and I actually brought out a map and I showed them. I'm like, I'm in BC, and it was like, what, 3,000 miles I came or some shit. It was like
farther than California,
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And then it kind of got into people. They're like, holy shit, dude, you really do come a long ways. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm fucking serious about this. But it was really damn fun. I had so much fun. I can't wait to like even my wife was there, and she had a fucking blast. She's like, I just want to go back. It was so much fun. Oh, she's like, she just loves the people. Everyone's so nice. There's no drama. There's nothing. It's just like people all with the same interests, just having a good time and laughing and drinking. And there's just the nice thing. There's no drama.
Very inclusive too. Very inclusive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, everybody was just super friendly. Like everybody at our table, and just like it was just, there was no negativity there at all.
No,
literally none.
No.
Yeah, no confrontations. Like, I mean, this is also before Halloween Ends came out though too. So
that's the new politics.
Right.
Halloween
it is. It's like the totally
people arguing about it like it's politics, man. It's sick.
Yeah. Man, but yeah, no, it was good to meet Carly also. It was a really, really fun time, man. I mean, I spent way too much damn money. It was funny too.
Yeah, you did spend a lot of money.
Oh, dude, Severing table was like, it was so bad. Like I bought like 3 box sets, and then that added up to like way too much money. But it was funny because like we're driving home and I'm like all tired and shit, and I was like, wait a minute. Was I buying JP presents on my birthday? And she just bursted out laughing. She's like,
yeah, you bought me a shirt.
She's like, that's fucking hilarious.
Shirt.
Yeah, dude, that shirt was, if I hadn't bought that for you, I would have bought, that was a nice shirt, man. I had
that shirt in a different color scheme, and I almost bought it again just to get the new colors.
Dude, those are nice shirts, man. Like I wore my
Paul
Demons.
Bear Press.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. Like the ones I bought from there, like I got the Demons and I Return of the Living Dead one and stuff, and
they last too.
And the Necromantic, and they're comfy, they fit properly, they're really nice, and I highly recommend.
Even if you wash them wrong a couple times, they don't fuck up.
Yeah.
I bought you a hat.
Oh yeah, the House by the Cemetery, that's right.
Yeah.
You got me the toque. The toque. What did you call them?
We call them beanies.
Yeah. There's parts of Canada that call them beanies. And some people over here call them but you had another word for them too. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking?
Toboggan?
Toboggan. And you're like, yeah, what's a toboggan? I'm like, I don't know. You sit on it and go down a snow hill. And you're like, no, it goes on your head.
It was a fucking bobsled.
I was like, a fucking bobsled? I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, man. Yeah,
I never even heard of toque, though. Ever.
I think
Not once.
toque must be...
I would think toque is some sort of like drag on a marijuana cigarette.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
It's a toque, but it's a toque.
Yeah, I think... See, I think people over here, they call those toques the one that don't have the little pom-pom on the top, and I think they'll call those beanies.
Yeah, the ones that
if
don't
they-
have the little John on the top,
Yeah.
those are beanies.
It's
the
funny-
ones that have the John are toboggans.
Okay, yeah, so it's different everywhere. I know it's different all over Canada. I know on the East Coast, I think they call them scullies over there, I think. Like on the Far East, I think they call them scullies, and I'm like, what the fuck? I remember somebody saying scully one time, and I was like, and I'm thinking like you're drilling a hole in someone's head and fucking their head, like you're giving them a scully.
That's a header, brah. That's
I know.
a header, brah.
It's also a header, and which I love that movie. It's so fucking nasty. But I was
It's
like, a
just-
scully.
I haven't watched it in so long.
Oh man, that's a
Are
ridiculous.
you in that movie?
Such a
No, I'm
ridiculous
in
premise.
headless, not in header.
You're in Headless. I knew there was.
I'm
something-
also in skinless. I'm in headless and skinless, and the covers look the same. It's very funny.
Skinless, like the Dustin Mills movie.
Yeah, and then I was in headless, and they both got a DVD release around the same time. They're just a guy with no skin on his face. It looks like.
I think
The
both those
Ballad of
movies.
Skinless Pete, right?
Both those movies made
Yep.
top 10 lists of mine actually in the past. It's kind of funny
Yeah.
actually. Dustin Mills, like for a few years there, it was always one of his films in my top 10. It was crazy.
Yeah,
So
I remember that. Yeah, I remember Bloody Disgusting did an article on the Skinless movie. I thought that was cool.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. But yeah, no, Wasteland, man. It was man, JP, fuck, dude. It was so funny. Like, so it's Sunday and we're getting ready to head out and shit. We're all saying our goodbyes and stuff and saying bye to fucking Dave and Keith and shit like that. And Carly comes down and she walks by and she's just fucking storming through the door. And I'm like, holy fuck. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And she comes back and she's like, I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, fucking JP still in fucking bed. He's so hungover and sick. He can't even get up. And it's like 10:30. It's like check out in like 20 minutes, right? I'm like, so here comes JP waddling his fucking leprechaun ass downstairs. And he's so fucking haggard. I'm just like, oh,
Dude,
bro.
I don't even remember seeing him. Did I leave already?
No, I didn't see you.
No,
I
I
think
think you did leave. Yeah, you left just before he came down or something. And then he comes down and he's just fucking haggard, man. I guess he was. You were puking all morning or something.
Yeah, dude, it was bad. And I haven't threw up from like drinking in forever.
Bro.
And I was just like,
Was it? Did you eat
I
before
like
you go to
broke
bed?
blood vessels in my eyeballs and shit.
No way.
Did you
I
like?
swear.
I don't.
Did you eat before you went to bed and it just didn't sit well or something, or it's just actually just straight from drinking? Because
Dude, I have no clue. I literally have no clue. I just
Yeah.
remember going to
Well,
bed.
what
Dude.
was fucked was in the morning, everybody was like, dude, I was so worried about you. I was so worried about you. And I'm the only one all wide awake and perfectly rested and fine. I'm like, I'm ready to drive home. And this one guy's like, I was worried about you, that Brown Bones guy. And he was like,
Yeah.
he's like, I haven't even went to bed yet. And I was like, bro, I am probably the most fucking healthy right now than everybody. And I'm looking around. I was shit-faced last night, but I got sleep. I almost threw up, though. I'm not going to lie. But I didn't.
I was fine. I think we went to bed like 3 or 4 in the morning. I was completely fine. I was just tired when we got up. And I was just thankful that Aaron was driving back, and I was like, "Oh, I'm just so fucked." Because the drive,
I think I went to bed about 4:32.
Yeah, the drive from Cleveland back up to Toronto is so fucking boring. The interstate is there's nothing to see. It's so damn boring, man. Oh my god, I'm used like where I live. Like it's kind of interesting. Like there's shit around, right? That is so damn boring, man. So I was like, I'm just like, but we stopped off at and that's the other thing. We were supposed to go meet at the Christmas Story House. Like Carly and JP and stuff. So
I was scared I was gonna throw up all over
Yeah,
his
so-
house, and I was like,
So JP is so fucking done, and Carly's pissed off because she wants to go, and then they end up going home and shit. And so we're like, well, fuck it, man, we're gonna go. It's literally on our way out. Like we didn't even have to go anywhere.
we did go check it out, but
Yeah.
we didn't go check it out. Like we drove by it to just see.
So we went, we did the tour and stuff like that, and went to the gift shop and got the kid the fucking pink bunny.
Dude,
pajamas.
that's awesome. I know Aaron said she wanted to do that.
So fucking hilarious, man. But yeah, it was cool. It was actually really cool to go in the house. It was neat. So I'm glad that we did it and stuff. So, but
yeah, and dude, like I don't know, like the first day, like because I drank on the Friday too.
Yeah,
I felt fine on Saturday.
Well,
like, there's nothing wrong with me.
The thing is, man, like we were in Toronto on Thursday, and then we drove down Friday. And me and Aaron put on a really good one on Thursday, and I was surprised that she was as good as she was to go to drive down and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so Friday hit, and we put on a pretty good one. But Dave, he saved himself. He didn't even drink on the Fridays.
Oh,
so
yeah.
He was good to go, man.
I drank Thursday, though. I got fucked up Thursday, too, before I came. And I had a crazy fucking night. And then I woke up fucking 3 hours of sleep, worked out, fucking then came to Wasteland. I was like, I'm not drinking tonight. And then fucking, I had to wait till I never drink 3 nights in a row. I can't do that. That's fucked up for me. I can't do that shit. So
I haven't
try to
drank
drink,
2 nights in a row in 15 years, probably.
So twice a week is my limit. 2 times a week is my limit for drinking. You know, I'm not drinking more than twice a week. That's just fucking, for me, that's dangerous.
Who was that? They're just before we're leaving, they're like, so how many beers did you guys go through? And Aaron's like, we went through 424 packs.
Dude,
I was like, what the
we drank
fuck?
a lot.
We drank a lot of fucking beers.
Yeah, dude.
I bought at least 24 beers myself, and those were all gone. And I only drank one night. We were giving them out, though. Me and you bought a lot of beer. We were just giving everything out, so I have no clue.
Dude, no, I think I bought 3 cases in the 2 days.
I bought at least 3 12 packs. I bought a 15 pack and 2 12 packs.
I didn't realize, but the Friday night, it was kind of cash downstairs. Everyone was kind of doing their own thing and stuff. So we had a bunch of people hanging out in my hotel room, and so it was it was JP and Dave and Keith and a bunch of other people, and we're drinking and shit. And then I fucking wake up in the morning and I look over and I'm like, holy fuck, Aaron, did you drink all those beers? And she goes, no, those are JP's. And I'm like, what the fuck? I gave him 12 beers from that fucking 20.
And we were drinking before that.
And I was like, that's what he drank in the hotel room. I was like, oh, god damn. People got shabammed.
Bro.
People got fucking shabammed, man. It was ridiculous.
Dude, I had to have at least 15 to 20 drinks that Saturday. Maybe more.
Oh,
dude,
man.
I think I had 20 or more, dude. That was the most I've drank in since I was a teenager.
Dude, I blacked out. I never blacked out. I didn't remember meeting Art in the lobby, but there's a picture of me and Art Ediger, and I look fucking dead.
Aaron said I drank a dozen before we even went for dinner.
I had at least 6.
I think I had about 6 before we went to dinner.
And then
I had 3 or 4 at dinner.
Me too.
I had 3 or 4. I had wine. I had 2 Blue Moons.
And then that meal was so good, and it felt so good after that I didn't feel full. And we're drinking low carb beers too, so it's not really filling. But
no, you were. You're drinking Blue Moon, bro.
Well, some of those Blue Moons I actually did drink. Some of those Blue Moons,
but we started with low carb shit.
Yeah, we all started with Michelob Ultra.
I tell you, man, when you drink 40 Michelobs and you have a Blue Moon, that is the best thing in the fucking world. Dude, that taste is so good. It's so good. That change of pace is it's second to none. It really is.
I bought an orange at the gas station, and we asked the bartender for a knife to cut the orange so he could drink out of the fucking Wasteland glasses.
Man, speaking of that place,
we were too.
That since they redid that gas station, that is one fucking nice gas station, man.
I remember fucking the dude in the fucking cooler that was like, I love this job.
Yeah, man. I'm pretty sure that guy's back there fucking bonging beers right now, man. He had to been shit faced. Yeah, dude, that was
he's just chuckling to himself.
Yeah, man. That was a really nice place. It had tons of food.
Has to go through some damn beer on Wasteland weekend.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I was shocked, man, when we went in there on that Saturday, later to grab more beer and stuff. There was still they must have just kept stocking it up or something, man, because I was like, well, there's still tons of beer in here.
They must have knew what was coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that dude wasn't leaving. He was back there just stocking all night.
Yeah. We made him work out on that weekend, man. It was fucking
Are you cold, bro? No, I'm never cold. Love it. Love it.
He's kicking
He was fucking 55, 60.
He's kicking empty cans back there, and I'm like, yeah, no, that guy's definitely not cold. He's shit-faced. Fucking hilarious, man. Oh, fucking.
Yeah, such a good time. Hopefully we're all able to do it next year too.
Next October for sure. My brother said he's going to go next October.
I love the fact that it's it always usually lands right on my birthday too. It's pretty cool, man.
It's not too far from mine. It's within a week or two usually.
Yeah, there's a few people I talked to their birthdays were around that time, and I was like, oh, that's fucking sweet, man. It's typical, man. October birthdays, they're very common. So
I'm September. I'm 27.
Yeah. So we're actually, we're a week apart, and years.
Yeah,
but
2 years.
Yeah. So Cinema Wasteland was a total win. It was good shit.
Hell yeah. And hopefully even more listeners will come out next year. It was that was one of the cooler things was having like some of the listeners and Patreon people like
that we talk to regularly too.
Yeah, like Tyler and Dan and Mason and Taylor, like they were all awesome too. Except for Tyler, what was it? Friday? Yeah, Friday night. He dropped his drink right in the middle of the convention.
And we just walked away from him. Remember that? We all just walked away. He dropped it. I was like, I don't know this dude.
Was I there for that?
No.
I was going to say, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't think it was just me, Dave, and Tyler, I think.
Yeah, you guys must have took off for a minute or something like that. Yeah, because I would do that too. I would just go in and grab something and come back. You get that. I'm like, I need to go grab that movie. And I'll just go in there and grab it, come back. I'm like, fuck. Yeah.
We did meet another person there that was that knew who we were, Matt, and he hung out with us for a while too.
Yeah, I wasn't even. I just walked into Wasteland. Was that the guy that was up all night?
No, that was another. That was the guy. They called. I kept calling him Bron Bones. His podcast is like Bones something. I think Bones and Brew. And then there was Christian too. We hung out with Christian too, who has the Quality Violent Cinema.
Yeah, there was a couple of people that.
And Taylor had all her friends too. Said they do. So a bunch of people there.
Yeah, there was a few people that we had just checked in. And we're walking up to the elevator, and that dude's like, "Hey, Moodz." He's like, "Big fan." And Aaron's like, "Oh, here we go." And I'm like, yeah. So, no, I ran into another person too. That I don't think he hung out with us on the Saturday. He might have just been there for the day. I don't know. But he knew who I was too. And so I saw him in the showroom. I can't remember what his name is. Sorry. Can't remember your name, buddy. For obvious reasons. But he came up to me and he's like, "What's up, Moodz? Big fan of the channel." And it was just very quick. So, but I'm sure, Dave, you get that all the time there, don't you?
No, I mean, at this point, I'm there so much that everybody that's ever wanted to say that to me said it to me.
Right. I guess so. I guess that kind of makes sense, yeah. Yeah, man, I can't wait to do it again. It's definitely my favorite convention. I like the HorrorCon that I go to over here. It's pretty fun. They got some good guests. It's getting better like every year and stuff. But Wasteland has just got a different atmosphere, man. I just really like the setup of it. I like the smaller venue, and it's a little bit more personable and stuff. And this year,
and the autograph prices aren't too high either.
No, they were actually, in fact, like I got fucking a couple even for free because I had bought and stuff before, and they're just like, "Oh shit, man, we'll sign." Like Toby, he signed mine for free. I think I can't remember. I got a couple for. I think I got like three for free.
One woman,
Book Walter, he signed it for free.
Signed for free too. Who was the woman?
The lady from the box set. Oh my god, dude, I can't remember her name right now. I'm so stupid.
Yeah, I don't remember which box set it was. Oh, yeah. It was the new dude, not Al Adamson, the new one.
Yeah, the incredibly strange
Ray
film.
Dennis Stickler.
Yeah, it was somebody.
But I'm trying to remember. It was basically like I think it was his wife at the time, Carolyn.
Bro, I don't know.
Yeah, like she was in a bunch of his movies and stuff. But anyway, she was there. So if you bought the box set, she was giving out free autographs, which I didn't know. And so the guy from Severn's like, "Oh, well, you just bought this box set, so she's gonna go and sign it for you." And I got a picture with her and shit. I was like, "Oh shit," because I didn't really know who she was, right? I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." So, but I didn't pay for that one or Book Walter or Toby Radloff and the director of that film too. That was for Killer Nerd. That was really cool to meet him, man, because I'm a big fan of like I think he's just a very interesting dude. He really is, man. Like American Splendor, which was based off of him, right? And if you guys, I already asked Dave if you ever seen American Splendor. You should really check that out, man, with Paul Giamatti. It's a great fucking movie.
I heard it's pretty good.
It's awesome, dude. It's really, really fucking cool. But that Radloff, he's an interesting guy. He's just like a bona fide nerd. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I told you the first time I ever heard him there, like I heard this voice, and it was like halfway across the convention. I heard, "What is going on here? I'll decide this movie was this," and it's literally like a mile away. And I'm like, "What? Who is that?" And then he walked by. I was like, "Oh, it's the Killer Nerd." I knew I recognized that fucking voice. I could hear it a mile away. That thing would go through fucking walls. That voice.
Right.
Yeah. Also, totally forgot. Maddie from Out This Way was there as well.
Yeah.
Your Madeline.
Oh, right.
Hearing.
Jeff Lieberman was cool. So yeah. I walked up to Jeff Lieberman, who of course directed Just Before Dawn, and I was wearing my Just Before Dawn shirt, and he's like, "Oh, that shirt, it's amazing." And he like runs out and he grabs it and he's showing all the guys from Snaps my shirt, and he's like, "It's amazing, this shirt's so awesome." And he just couldn't stop talking. He was so excited and started bullshitting and stuff. And I made the mistake of calling Just Before Dawn a slasher film, and then he's like, "Oh, it's not a slasher film." He's like, we didn't know that term. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm not going to argue with you.
What is it? What is it? Exploitation then? It's one or the other.
I'm like, well, his explanation was when he made Just Before Dawn, I guess the term probably wasn't overly coined as slasher film. He was just making that type of movie kind of thing, right? Maybe it was like a exploitation backwoods.
It's not exactly a body count movie either.
It really isn't.
It's not really a body count.
There's like 4 kills in it. There really is. So it is,
Yeah.
and then plus it's a little different with who's doing the killings and stuff like that. It's a little bit different. Plus he probably started production in that film probably, I want to assume, 79 probably, right? So really, I mean,
maybe early 80 or something. Yeah, for sure. So I mean, like, there's a lot of them like that, like To All a Good Night and all those kind of ones were around that time.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but he
don't
really,
answer the phone. You're like, is it a slash? I don't know what the
Those
fuck
proto Johns.
I was just kind of shocked though, man, because like I for the amount of laps I did around the showcase floor, I didn't see a lot of people getting Lieberman to sign shit, and I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, that's
he
crazy.
was just there though. He was just there. I got his autograph. I bought remote control from him and got his autograph and asked him about George Kennedy. I feel like maybe a year ago, maybe less. I don't remember.
Oh, crazy. Yeah, remote control's a good one, man. It's good.
I haven't watched that one yet.
Yeah, I just reviewed Satan's Little Helper again.
I did too.
Blu-ray,
That's a fun movie.
Man, I couldn't believe how good it looked on the Blu-ray.
Did you notice some weird fragmenting though? Like, and I think that's just from the movie itself.
Right in the beginning. Right in the beginning.
Digital.
Right in the beginning.
Yeah, any dark scene was like that.
Yeah, but most of the outside, like everything looked pretty good, and I was like, wow, this kind of elevated the film for me, just PQ wise and stuff, and it sounded really good too. It's
a solid movie. It's a cheap movie, but it's good.
Synapse. Yeah, it is. But Lieberman was cool. He was cool, man. But it was kind of like I went there. I had a couple pictures that I'd taken in the past with Fred Vogel, and of course Fred didn't make it this year because he unfortunately had an accident at work and broke his leg and stuff, and he just wasn't able to make it and stuff. And everybody that knows Wasteland, he always has his table set up there and stuff with his wife.
First time he missed one ever.
Yeah, and I was disappointed because, and I kind of figured I probably should have actually asked Dave, but I brought the pictures to get signed by Fred and stuff like that. And but that was kind of really the only disappointing thing that I actually had from Wasteland. So. But I did like the fan geek thing. I even had an old picture I had with Dave, and I got him to sign that and stuff because I'm a fan.
Yeah, dude.
So, but Wasteland was great stuff, man. Really, really good stuff.
Yeah, and the most surprising thing for me was y'all, at least Moodz. I don't remember what Dave said, but you said that I wasn't as short as you thought I'd be.
Yeah.
Which like
and then he replies to me, he goes, well, you're not as tall as I thought you'd be. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, well, I guess. I don't know.
Me and Moodz are very close in height.
It's
like
funny,
a half-inch difference.
It's funny because people always, I do look deceivingly odd sometimes because I have really short legs. Like I'm 6'1" and I only have 30-inch legs. Right? So I think
I'm about 6'1" too.
Maybe I do look shorter than I am. I don't know. Me, we were talking about that after me and the wife, and I'm like, yeah, it could be because
my legs are very tall, though.
Yeah, I'm
all legs.
I'm all torso. I'm a weird body. So, yeah. But, do we have anything? Oh, shit, dude, I got to bring it up. Because this happens every fucking year. And this is probably the worst one that this is probably the worst year for JP. 31 Days of Horror. He made it to like day 13 this year, man. And this is something that's we always have to bring this up on the show because like I've never actually missed a day ever by doing this. And JP usually fails around day 21, but this year was like day 13. I was like, what happened, bro?
But you might as well get it over with. Just fail early.
Right.
Do what?
Like, why get too far and then just...
Oh, yeah, fail early.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say. Normally, like, dude, there's been multiple years where I failed on day 21, like multiple times.
Like, it was like 4 or 5 times, man. I'm like, what's with day 21?
Yeah, like, not intentionally.
Yeah.
But no, this year was weird. So I pre-recorded some videos before we went to Wasteland because October started at Wasteland.
Yeah, I had to, too, also.
And then I had a couple more pre-recorded that I needed to upload still. And then I was kind of just doing them as I think I was one day ahead, but I planned on, I had a bunch watched, so I was just going to do like knock out a bunch of reviews, but I'm like weird. I change my shirt with every review because I don't know why, but I don't want to have, if I'm recording them all in a row, I'll just change my shirt.
Dude, I do the same thing. I put on a different shirt purposely every single review. And like sometimes I'll record 2 in one day and I change my shirt and everything.
Yeah, that was the same way. But so there was an incident at Wasteland where like a coworker of mine, like there was like her boyfriend like came in and like tore the place up or something like that, and that sort of all like exploded the week after I got back from Wasteland, and then I ended up getting called into work on a day where I was like, I'll just record my video at work, because it was like the overnight thing. I was like, I do it because it's dead, and I ended up like my camera was dead. So that's where I first missed the day, and then a bunch of other annoying work stuff happened, and then eventually I was just like, I have a bunch that I need to record, but I've just been lazy now that I failed. Right. But I'll probably just upload like 6 a month in 2 days.
Nah, doesn't work. I never do that.
Dude, don't tell me. I've literally finished the year prior.
When the next one started.
Year.
Yeah.
Like,
when the next one started.
The next year started on October 1st, and I did like 6 videos in September from the previous year.
Yeah. That's so
You're
funny.
crazy.
That's
Why
so
even
funny.
care?
I just I don't know. Why not?
I guess.
That's
I mean, I don't mind. What does a video take to make? Like, you know, it fucking takes 10 minutes for me.
yeah. But yeah, no, I was laughing. I was like, day 13. Holy shit, man. That's like the ultimate fail this year, man. It's crazy.
It was too, man.
Yeah.
It was.
It always cracks me up too, man, because 13th Wolfman, he's doing the 31 Days of Horror also, and the beginning of every video, he always mentions the people that he knows that's doing the 31 Days of Horror also, and he's like, he mentions a couple of his buddies that I don't know and stuff, and he's like Moodz 616, and he's like Double Shot J, and I'm always like, no, he's not.
Kinda.
I've already watched 34 horror movies for October, and I didn't do the thing. I didn't do the 31 days, but I've already watched 34 horror movies for October. I watched more than 34 movies, but I watched 34 horror movies.
Oh yeah,
I
think I've watched like 45 movies this month, but
I usually
watched
hit like 60 horror movies every October, but this year I've been like slow. I haven't been this entire year. I think I'm only at like 300 movies this year, which is, man, I'm usually at like 450 by now.
Didn't watch shit in the summer because I was never home. This summer.
I watched 42 movies this month.
Yeah, this summer right here is probably the least amount I've been home in years. Like between July and August, I think I was only home 5 days in my actual house. It was crazy, dude. Like we were always out of town from the kids' all-star baseball and either at the cabin or on holidays we're doing this, and it was fucking nuts. It was just a crazy, crazy summer, man. So,
yeah, I remember like looking at your Letterboxd. I'm like, damn, Moodz hasn't logged shit in like forever.
No. Like even when I would camp like years before in my motorhome and stuff, and like every once in a while I'd pop in a movie there and shit if the weather was shitty, whatever the fuck it may be. So I'd end up logging that and stuff, but not this year, man. Nothing.
What's your diary entries this year? I've already got 596.
I think I'm at like 470 or something like that,
which is really low for you.
Yeah.
Moodz always beat me. I always think I'm going to beat Moodz one year, and then he'll come back and watch like 500 movies in a day. I'm like,
yeah, I know. No, this year might actually be my lowest that I've ever had since I've been on Letterboxd for sure. Yeah, unless I have like an extremely ridiculous December, which I usually do because I'm one of those weirdos that will watch like all my Christmas horror films, and I'll watch like all my
plus
Christmas
2022 movies.
Yeah, and 22, and I'll watch all my like regular Christmas movies that I watch because I'm one of those weirdos that always watches movies during the holidays, and then I'll find myself watching a bunch of like the Hallmark movies.
Dave's a weirdo for not doing that.
Oh yeah. So I pack in a lot of movies, and December is usually a super, super busy month because I hate the feeling of doing a top 10 list and being like, oh, I didn't watch that one when I probably could have. And I'm like, fuck, maybe it could have.
Yeah, I hate that feeling.
Unless I just never had the opportunity or didn't know about it or whatever. Like when you had Landmine Goes Click, I didn't even know about that motherfucking movie. And here's this #1 goddamn movie of the year. And I'm like, this motherfucker's cheating.
To be fair, I found out about that movie like 2 days before we recorded.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it happens. But I mean, for the most part, it's usually about a 90% rate. Probably seen most of the movies on people's lists and stuff. So
there's usually like 3 that I haven't seen on your list like every year.
Yeah. I don't know how that's going to work this year, man. We always complain about the year up until this point, but this has really not been a great year for myself. I know other people like Mr. Dave Z come on, bro, what the fuck are you watching that we aren't watching? This guy's like watched 40 movies.
He posted a list today.
Every movie's
chat.
like over
There was
7.
a
I'm
lot
like,
I haven't seen.
I don't even know.
Honestly, most of the movies I've seen have been decent. The only real bad ones are some of the independent turds that are just like straight garbage that I watch. But everything mainstream, most of the stuff has been very watchable to good.
Yeah, like, I mean,
my thing is like I just don't have many movies that are like, oh, that's a top 10er. You know what I mean? That's my thing. Is like,
for me, like almost every year, there's like that bona fide number one film, and I'm always like trying. I'm like, man, that movie's running for number one, and I'm like, I need to watch this, and then maybe knock it out of there. Blah blah. Not this year, man.
That happens a lot. But there have been so many times where I've watched my number one in like the last like month of the prep. Like Golden Glove, like I watched that like a week before.
I pushed on you so hard to watch that movie because I knew you'd love it. Did I not know? I was like, we all loved it.
Yeah, you were very correct on that one.
The weirdest thing for me, every year, the very first movie of the year I watch always ends up in my top 10. It's not going to be this year because the very first movie I watched in 2022 was Scream, actually, to be honest. Because I didn't watch anything for like the first month or two of the whole year from 2022. So, to be honest, more the more mainstream stuff this year, especially this has kind of been a strange year, man. It's been more. There's been a lot of franchise sequels and franchise films, which is odd. Like, we got a Scream film, we got a Chainsaw film, we got a Halloween film, a Hellraiser film. Like, that's really bizarre.
It is really weird.
It is weird.
That is, yeah. It feels like the 80s or something.
It does.
That happened in the 80s,
When was the last time we had 4 films from 4 major franchises in a year? Like
and there's a Child's Play TV series.
Oh yeah, and season 2 of that just started. Yeah, in which I enjoyed the first season for the most part.
A newer franchise too. You got Art the Clown, dude.
Yeah, I want to watch that one. I need to see it. I hope I don't think I'll have time to go for a 2.5 hour theater series.
Well, do you think
honestly, the 2.5 hours does not feel like 2.5 hours. A lot of people have said that, and I actually agree with them.
So do you think it's going to make it to a franchise or just a trilogy? I mean, I guess you can count the short that it's based off of. I guess it's kind of a trilogy right now already, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely become iconic. Like this, we haven't talked in a while, Moodz, and you haven't really, like, I know you don't like pay attention to a bunch of stuff going on whenever it's not like podcast season. Yeah. But essentially they were going to release Terrifier 2 for like a 3-day weekend, just one weekend in like 500 theaters or something, and it did so well that they extended it, and I think now this is like the 3rd week in a row that it's actually been playing every day, and it had like a $500,000 budget or $250,000 budget, and it's made over almost $6 million at the box office in the top.
That's awesome though. So like it or not, that's awesome.
So
not only that, but this
Killer
is the
Clown
biggest
movies
factor.
Is becoming like the new fucking Paranormal Activity success story.
The original did great on Netflix. People at work were asking me about it.
Right.
They're just regular ass people asking me about it.
You want to hear something fucking rad? Like, this is really fucked up. So, I'm out for dinner with my aunt and uncle and my cousins on Saturday night and stuff, and my uncle says to me, he's like, man, we watched this really fucking messed up movie a few nights ago. It's Killer Clown movie, and I was like, oh, I'm like, which one? There's like a million Killer Clown movies, and I'm like, and it was odd because he does watch horror films. They watch movies all over the place, but it was just like, okay, and I'm like trying to figure it out, and he's like,
I guarantee it wasn't Clownado.
No, no. So I'm like, did you watch it? And he's like, no. And I'm like, and then he's trying to scroll through, and then I'm like, what? Did you watch like Terrifier or something? He's like, yeah, I watched Terrifier, and I'm like, you watched Terrifier? And he was like, dude,
no, it was on Netflix, man.
He's like, it's fucking messed up. And he's like, oh, it was really, really good. And I was like, holy shit, dude. I'm like, speaking of that, they actually just came out with a sequel. It just came out like, pretty much this time. And he's like, oh, crazy. Yeah, my auntie, she wasn't overly impressed. She's like, that movie was really crazy and gory.
So
and nasty.
The other cool thing about this release that's really cool is that it was released unrated. So there's no MPAA rating on it.
So this is like the first movie since what? Hatchet, was it 2?
Hatchet 2, but Hatchet 2 got pulled in one day.
But it was
before
released.
That, the last major one I think was like Dawn of the Dead.
Right.
So this could be a game changer. These studios are seeing, or at least the more indie studios are seeing that like word of mouth is still effective. Well, and like,
how could it not be a game changer? $500,000. You made $6 million opening weekend. It's unrated. Do the math. Keep doing it.
Right, and it's extremely violent. Like I was like in the theater and I'm like, dude, there is no, like, this is nuts that this is in the theater.
Right.
And my theater
crazy.
was packed too on a Sunday. And I'm like, what the hell? But I will say, in the bathroom afterwards, I heard all these like younger dudes talking about it, and they're like, that is the worst movie that was ever made and stuff. And
it is the production value like kind of like the first one, or does it?
It's a little better.
It's better. Yeah.
A little better production. It has much more story, but honestly, like some of the story stuff I didn't care for that much. But Art the Clown is fucking amazing in this film. Like the non-audible performance is just so damn good.
Right.
I was actually talking to Jeremy, and he said he went back and listened to the first time we brought that up on the show, which was episode 5, for the All Hallows Eve, which was just a short film. And he had said in that episode that he thinks that Art the Clown could be like a next big like franchise icon, which is kind of cool prediction, because nobody had seen that movie back then. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he's
All
right.
Hallows Eve was like nothing.
But I mean, it's a pretty good. But he also was that off. That was when Terrifier first came out.
No, this was when All Hallows Eve.
Oh, when it was the
out.
short, yeah. But I mean, it's
top 10.
It's definitely a noteworthy prediction because, like, I mean, to be honest, he just has that look. It's very memorable.
Oh, dude, it's
right.
He's so damn good at it too, man. Like the look is
it's
great.
the look. You can't forget the mask. Like it's an incredible fucking look. It's really good.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I honestly had a blast with it. I think that it's better than the first one. I'm not super crazy about like some of the territory it goes with, like some of the story, but it is a fucking blast, dude.
So is the Barn 2 good?
It's better than the first, and I
highly doubt that. Although I talked to the guy at the Screen Team releasing table, and he's like, I said, do you guys have a copy? He's like, nah, it's gonna be out in a couple weeks, kind of thing. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, I love the first one. He's like, yeah, the new one's really good. He's like, it's really, really good. And I'm like, oh shit. He was kind of hinting at the fact that he might even liked it more than the first one.
We watched the WNUF sequel and the Barn 2 back.
I want to see both of those.
Yeah, me too, man. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that shit.
I'd say I liked WNUF more than the Barn 2, but I also think that the Barn 2 I like a lot more than the Barn 1.
Yeah, you're fucked. And Dave's fucked too. You guys are fucked. Whatever.
Dude, but that, like, you're gonna like the Barn 2.
It's honestly
Barn
like
1.
It's honestly like a staple for me. I watch it every year. Love it.
Yeah, well, you're gonna now
too.
watch the Barn 2.
WNUF too. Actually, I think 1031 Part 3 is coming out this year. Or I think it might be out like right now. I think it's coming out right now.
Yeah, WNUF captured like the same vibe. They pulled it off again.
You know,
it's not as impressive seeing it, you know, because we've seen it done already.
They should just hire him to direct all the fucking commercials in between VHS 94 and 99, because this is so much more authentic than theirs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. It's like honestly amazing. Like this one's like really cool what they do with the story with this one now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool, man. I'm really impressed to hear
fun.
that. I'm really impressed because WNUF was so well done. To recapture that is, you know, it's almost like lightning in a bottle, but like, you know, to do the first one.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to be able to capture that again.
But to hear that gets me so excited. And to hear that the Barn 2 in your eyes is better. And so that's really good too. So, man, Screen Team, they've been releasing a lot of really good stuff, man. That's kind of an underrated company. And I talk about them quite often on my channel because I review a lot of them. Actually, today's review that's up on my channel is Loon from Screen Team. And
how's that one?
I always try to support it, man. Dude. Man, it's I tell you, man, it has one motherfucking head scratcher of an ending. It is like I enjoyed it. It's good. It's people are either gonna love it or hate it, man. There's no in between on this one. But if you know anything about the way I like endings and shit, like it's interesting. It's interesting to say the least. But I enjoyed it. It's good. It's well shot. It's very well acted for a low budget film. Very, very well done.
Well, I just recently watched The Last Thanksgiving, and I would not say that's a very well acted movie from Screen Team.
No. I watched that one actually last year, and I know it's getting this Blu-ray release like tomorrow. I think it comes out tomorrow.
Yeah.
So is the director of The Barn, is he the one that owns Scream Team releasing?
Justin Seaman? I think so.
Yeah.
Was that the guy that was at the table? Because I'm not sure what he looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, so then that's why he fucking said that. That's fucking hilarious. I didn't even know that was him. because I didn't know what he looked like. I honestly never knew what he looked like, and I was just like, yeah, I'm a big fan of the barn. He's like, yeah, I think the barn 2 is better. And like, he just nonchalantly said it like that. What a motherfucker!
Yeah.
That's
he's
hilarious.
a cool guy. I've talked to him a couple times. He's from out my way, which obviously.
Oh, dude, that's okay. So
he always does great work with this product, though. All his movies look really good, like on the outside. Even no matter how you feel about them, you're all like, oh, I gotta buy this.
Yeah. No, Scream Team does a lot. They do a lot. The one thing I like about that company is that they put out a lot of like holiday themed movies and stuff, and I'm a big fan of those type of things. Like they do Halloween movies, they do fucking, Christmas movies. Like I picked up the what's the recent one that they released? It's a Christmas Xmas. I don't know what the fuck it's called. Anyways, I picked it up, but
so why are you asking us?
I don't know, because
13 Slays till Xmas.
That's not that one. That one's older.
Yeah.
Is it?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it came out maybe last year, 2 years ago, something like that. Yeah. Anyways. But anyways, the point is they release all these fucking holiday ones, like this Thanksgiving one that just came out and stuff. I'm a big fan. They do a good job.
Yeah, and they also released The Sleeper, which is like an older movie.
They re-released this. I think because they're the ones that put out the Blu-ray, right? Or they.
Yeah. I bought the Blu-ray off him. He told me that he basically just reached out to the dude. He saw the movie, liked it, and saw that it didn't have like a great release out.
Well, I have that DVD. I have that DVD VHS box. I'm sure Dave probably does too.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I have that. And you know what I recently did with that? I got the DVD signed by Joe Bob, because Joe Bob Briggs has a fucking like a 30-second cameo in the end of the movie, and I brought it to him, and he's like, and he kind of looks at it, and I go, "You don't sign these very often, dude." And he goes, "I'm not even sure if I've ever signed one." He was like kind of stunned that I brought him The Sleeper, right? I was like, "What?"
He actually has, in the special features, he does the drive-in totals for the movie too.
Really? Cool. That's cool, man. Yeah. Good shit. All right. Yeah, man. I feel like that was a fucking tangent right there. Dave, I wanted to ask you. So you have like 1 million shows on your YouTube channel. You got this new one. It's like movie 80s movie and a song.
Movie and a track.
Movie and a track.
Yeah, I like the idea. It's fun.
Yeah, it's cool. I watched the first episode, and I was intrigued by Buddy's choice of song to.
Well, he's into pop music and shit, and he knows a lot about that kind of stuff. Like if you ask him what year like the hit song was, he'll know the hit and the year the album and shit came out.
Right.
It's kind of impressive for somebody that's only 22 years old. Lady Ford and Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, I just thought that was an interesting choice for the the contrasts, or to correlate with Nightmare on Elm Street. And it just kind of like took me by surprise that he picked that. Like, he would be a person I would love to talk to, because I'm very knowledgeable in that, like 80s music too. And we
did Return of the Living Dead. Yeah.
I was just shocked by the choice. I was like, oh, that's very interesting. And then how he kind of explained it away and stuff. But I was like, oh, that's a really cool thing. It's a cool idea. Another show that I probably won't be on. Actually, speaking of that, man, I talked to Sean Donahue at Wasteland, and I was like, dude, I really liked your topic for Dave's top 10 show. And he's like, what did I do again? And I was like, top 10 movies on 42nd Street. He's like, oh yeah, fuck man, I couldn't remember.
He did a good job.
I thought that was a
list too.
That was a really unique idea. I thought that was very, very
for
cool.
Sure.
So, yeah.
But we ended up recording a second episode. I just have to edit it, and I got to do my 1980 horror 1980 episode first, and then put that one out. I got Cannibal Apocalypse coming with Bruce Holchek, and then I have Return of the Living Dead. He did Return of the Living Dead, so
nice.
Can't pay. I mean, you have to go the big ones because just curious to see,
Yeah, those the 1980 ones are really cool. You've had some good guests on there and stuff. I actually just rewatched Cannibal Apocalypse like just the other night. Fuck, I love that movie.
I love that movie. Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
It is, man. It's so damn good. But I would love to do an episode. And I generally don't do things with other people because I'm kind of snobby. But the top 10 shit, man. I love lists.
I definitely got to do it.
I love lists.
I need to get it back into the string of doing it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like even the music one, that would be kind of interesting too. I think that's a very unique idea.
Well, the music one's probably going to be Brandon. Is it just like an easy way because he lives close and we can do these weekly or every other week or something like that?
Yeah, to do it in person is so much nicer. It's so much nicer to do that shit, man.
But the secret top 10, I'll definitely have you on
next year at Wasteland. Just saying.
No, why waste the Wasteland experience at a podcast? We should record a short podcast.
yeah, just like an hour thing.
Yeah, I agree. An hour's cool, but I don't want to do like 8 hours.
It would be cool to record a podcast like where we were partying, like back in that corner, just have the equipment and shit like that, and just have people come in and fucking blah blah blah. And that would be really fun. It'd be loud background, but it'd be I mean, you could still swing it. You could still swing it, I think.
Yeah,
so.
I don't gotta edit it.
Right, it might be, yeah. I'm gonna have a lot of filtering on this thing, man. It's gonna be crazy. Yeah, so
yeah, I would love to do one of those top 10 things too.
Oh, you guys are definitely doing the next season. I just gotta get fucking off my ass and get all this other stuff done and record the introduction one and shit. I got one recorded already.
I totally would have done one of those 80s ones, but you did a lot of it in the summer and shit like that. It was never around because you even asked me to do Maniac, right?
You were going to do Maniac.
I wanted to do Maniac, but I literally could not find a minute to do it. I was so pissed. I'm like, fuck. The one movie.
That would have been perfect.
I know.
Right. Because I think Maniac, I think Moodz,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but I got a good guess. I got Art Editor.
Still kills you think of fucking May.
Well, no, I gave you a list and you were like,
I know there wasn't like an easy pick for me. Dave Z, The Shining makes sense.
Yeah. Like I guess we could, but I already had like I haven't covered Alligator on my show, or I probably just done Alligator on with you because I know you love that too. Yeah. But I haven't done it yet, so I was like, I'll just do this by myself. And then I got to the point where I was like, I was gonna do The Children with Carly, and I'm like, do the children and fucking Patrick Still Lives need their own goddamn show? No,
not really.
Oh man, I would totally 100% do Patrick Still Lives. I fell in love with that. That is the sleaziest garbage shit I've ever seen in my life, and I love it.
So bad.
You know what's fucked up about that movie, man? And I didn't know. The mother from Burial Ground. She's also in that movie, and she's got probably the most memorable death in that fucking movie. It's disgusting. And but I didn't realize that she was actually dating or even married to the director of that movie. And that's why she appears in that one too. And she actually kind of regretted doing that scene because it's pretty fucking nasty. I'm not going to give it away.
You talking the Burial Ground or the Patrick Still Lives?
Patrick Still Lives. Yeah, she was involved with the director of Patrick Still Lives. Anyways, her kill scene in that movie, she kind of ended up saying after the fact that she regretted doing that shit. And I was like, why? Because it was amazing. That scene
movie is real sleaze. It's real trash.
That is one of the sleaziest kills in the history of cinema. It really fucking is, man. It's just crazy.
I think all the kills in The Strange Case of Dr. Osborne, the William Bordacek, and the fucking Sister of Ursula, those are real sleaze.
Dude, Sister of Ursula has the best weapon. Oh, man, it's so good.
Well, that's the same weapon in both those movies. Dr. Jekyll, Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll, but just different implements.
Right.
One is actually the part of the person, and the other is a little different. Right. Both nasty.
Yeah.
Also the same murder weapon in Solange, in a way.
In a sense, yeah.
Same MO.
Yeah, that's some epitome of sleaze right there.
And Seven.
I'd always heard from people like how much Patrick Still Lives was just awful and shitty, and I'm wondering if people maybe saw the cut versions of it because I could see
it's fun.
The cut version
it's a pretty shitty movie,
not being
but it's
as
entertaining
enjoyable.
Though.
It is entertaining.
Yeah, like the uncut version's nuts,
and it was fucking it killed. We gave that the feature of the night.
Dude, it's so... I was blown away, man. I was like, I'm enjoying this shit. I kept laughing out loud, and I was like, this is fucking awesome.
It's definitely a group movie, though. Like, I'd be better with a group.
It was.
I'm weird. I can always just have fun by myself and laugh out loud and shit. And I'm just like, God damn. I'm talking. I'm like the crowd in fucking Scream 2, dude. By myself.
Just by yourself?
I don't care. I really don't give a shit. Who hears me or whatever. I'm having fun.
You know what's fucked up? I think that's the best scene in Scream 2. Is the opening.
It is the best scene in Scream 2.
It's a really good scene. It is a really good scene. It's a strong scene.
And I'm telling you, 100%, that's how a crowd would react. 100%. Let's go back to this argument again. That was fucking funny.
Yeah.
The one time me and Lacey ever agreed on something.
Oh, yeah. It was like you and Lacey, and I had fucking Mike.
Against you and Mike in it. Oh,
yeah. Like pretty much agree with JP.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's too exaggerated for the film. I think it's fine.
For the film, yeah. I'm just saying for real life.
No, I think college kids are crazy. College kids are hype, man. College kids are fucking hype as shit, bro. And
if they were handing out masks, I'm getting into this argument now.
Especially when they're hopped up on fucking cheap ass fucking draft beer and shit like that, and probably other type of pills and shit.
Scream masks.
Yeah, I mean, there's shit going on, man. You're gonna get double hype there, man. But yeah, we'll leave that conversation for, maybe we'll bring that up when we have to review the new Scream movie.
That is, well, we might as well wait because there's a new Scream movie coming out.
You know what's really fucked up, bro? Is that we have so many franchise roundup episodes to do.
Oh, dude, I know. We really
Between
need
Leprechaun,
to, like, when we have
Scream, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it never ends now. There's got to be at least
Hellraiser.
10. Hellraiser, there's got to be 10.
We have a whole trilogy of Halloween films to do.
I know. Yeah, because we never actually did cover the first one.
No, we did cover the first one, but might as well just do them.
Oh,
all
yeah,
three.
we did. That's right. That's right. Jeremy was getting all fucking pissy with me because he's like, you give this a 6. Shut the fuck up. So.
But no, it's like there's a lot that we need to get. And did we do the last Tremors? I don't even think we did the last Tremors.
No, we never did. No, because I told you. I said I can't do the last Tremors, man. I'm going to cry on the podcast.
Yeah,
I'm very attached to that franchise. I'm very attached to that franchise.
So am I. I love it.
Yeah, it's really good.
I did show my my cousin's kids. They're only like 4 and 3. We showed them Tremors, and they really liked it. Tremors, I love that movie as a kid.
Dude, I used to play Tremors as a kid.
Me too.
Like,
Tremors made my top 100. I put Tremors in my top. It might have been in my top 20,
like,
to be honest.
I had a bedroom that had 2 beds in it, like, side by side.
Oh yeah. You can't touch the ground. You jump into furniture. Your parents are like, what the fuck are you doing?
And
yeah,
it had
of course.
like toy guns and shit, and I would be like,
or the Jungle Gym. The Jungle Gym was the best.
Yeah, dude, I literally played Tremors as a kid.
Yeah, it was good shit, man. I remember watching it back in the day when it came out too. That shit scared the shit out of me.
I just love. I mean, I even love Part 2. Part 2 is great.
2 is fun.
No.
Are we gonna get in these reviews?
Yeah,
no.
we should.
No.
We're just talking about Tremors.
No, I just deleted the last thing that was on all the shit, man. I actually had all written down to talk about in the intro. But
oh, really?
I was gonna be like, yo, man, how'd you guys this summer? And I'm like, nah, I don't want to fucking talk about summer. All right, man. Yeah, so that's gonna do it for the intro. Is there anything that you want to say, JP? Like, is there anything Patreon wise, anything that needs to be said?
I don't think that we have any. The only thing I'll say is I know we've been like really inactive, but we're back. So, and thanks to the listeners.
I don't think we had to tell people. Did we have to tell people we weren't in?
Yeah, they might have been listening and thought like, well, I don't know if they're back. They might just be back for a second.
I mean, they could have been, man. We get a lot of comments on older shows from a lot of crazy people with crazy comments. And
yeah,
for the record, we're not pedophiles.
Oh,
just because we watch Serbian film does not make us pedophiles.
You guys fucking
defend
Serbian
because
film.
We liked Serbian film,
but it's fake.
Yeah, but Serbian film doesn't have any social commentary. It was just intended for pure shock value, and
dude, like that.
And only
scene
pedophiles
is
would say
one
that.
fucking scene in a giant movie. You know what I mean?
I know. Anyways, we're not gonna talk about that shit. But yeah, no, we've been getting a lot of comments on older shows, which kind of makes sense. It usually happens when we're off and people go back and listen to older shows and stuff like that. So, thank you guys for listening to the older shows and leaving normal comments. But the hate comments are more than welcome too. I actually really enjoy them. I love posting them for people. It makes me laugh. So if you are one of those people that leaves one of those comments, it will be exploited.
Yes.
So, all right. So that is going to do it for the intro. And we'll be back with you guys in a minute to get into these Halloween shows. The Midnight Hour, Jacko, and Hellfest. Yeah. Yo, who this?
Yo, Moodz, it's your boy, the ill-mannered funky child, calling you to remind you that the featured reviews on this episode contain spoilers.
Aw, yeah, man, that's right, brother. Thanks for the heads up, playa. Now go back to being an unproductive asshole.
Fuck you. I tell your listeners to stop being so dumb, silly, sensitive.
Yeah.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, so getting into the featured reviews here on episode 228, the brand new Listener's Choice Halloween show. We're going to take it back to 1985, which we've mildly talked about this film before. during
this was one that you literally wanted every single year since we started doing the votes.
I just couldn't believe
and it came close a few times, but
I could never figure out why this movie was never chosen. And I think it's because
not a lot of people had seen it.
It's a rare movie.
Yeah, it is. Anchor Bay put this out back in the day. It's been out of print forever. It definitely needs a reissue.
I feel like the music would probably.
I think 100%.
Too many music rights. I think
sure. 100%.
I think that's probably.
I always wonder how Anchor Bay put this out with the soundtrack, because like they obviously had the rights to do that because it was a legit release, and I'm always confused. Maybe the rights ran out and nobody could re-up them. I don't know. There's a lot of variables when you're dealing with music rights in TV films,
and this is a TV movie. And
that's the thing, and
it's fucked up
because it was an ABC. It could be ABC regained the rights and they're just holding on to it. They don't want to give it out. There's a lot of different variables when you're dealing with TV releases. So who knows? But this would be a great title for like Vinegar Syndrome to release. Man, it would just be so amazing. But yeah, so we're talking about The Midnight Hour from 1985, a film that actually did make my top 10 of that year. I don't remember.
85 was such a fucking tight year. It was hot.
I made my top 25,
but
yeah,
maybe my top 25.
85 is one of those years that we always bring up because it's like it has 5 or 6 films from that year that are literally in my favorite all-time films. From the same year. Like 85 is so incredibly strong. It's nuts. So
my top 10 I memorized my top 10 off the top of my head is Day of the Dead, Return of the Living Dead, Demons, Phenomenon, Reanimator, Fright Night, House, Silver Bullet, Vampire Hunter D, and Friday the 13th Part 5.
Yeah, I have like 6 of those also, and then I have Midnight Hour in there, and I can't remember the rest of mine.
Cemetery of Terror.
Cemetery of Terror is in there. I can't remember what else I chose.
Which is also great.
Yeah.
We did that last year, actually.
Yeah, great one.
Yeah, and then stuff like Nightmare on Elm Street 2, The Stuff, Life Force, a lot of big titles came out that year.
Yeah.
Wait,
Murder Lust.
Didn't Elm Street 2 make your list?
Not my list. I had Friday 5 over Nightmare 2.
Nightmare 2 is on some people's list though, right?
It was on my top 25.
Yeah.
It was in my top 25. It didn't make my top 10 though.
Yeah, I think it was in my like top 5 actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, have we done 3 different top 10 years that had Friday films, and I don't think I had any. Like Friday or Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite franchise.
6.
And I haven't had any in my top 10 list.
91, 94, and 85.
Yeah. It's random.
No, also 82.
No, that's not
no,
a Nightmare.
Because Nightmare on Elm Street came out in 84.
I thought he said Friday.
No.
Did he not say Friday?
No, I meant to say Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, okay.
No, I said Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite franchise.
But how could fucking 1991s make it?
No. It's just like, that's just never happening. So.
But saying that, there is a movie directed by this guy, Jack Bender, who directed Midnight Hour from 91 that did make a lot of our list. He directed Child's Play Part 3.
Yep.
Ooh, yes.
And I was just about to bring that up.
Child's Play Part 3.
Yeah, Child's Play Part 3, which is, it's all... Child's Play 3 is one of those films where I still see people say, oh, I fucking hate that movie. I hate that movie. It's too
That's
comical.
One of my favorites.
I've always loved it, man. I just think it's so mean-spirited when he replaces the paintballs with real bullets, man. That's like one of the craziest things ever. Fucking amazing.
Very memorable.
It is very memorable.
And Andy Robinson's great in it too.
Yeah, I like the setting,
bro.
That's
setting
the setting.
So cool.
Yeah, the military school setting is really cool, man. And I like little Tyler and
then it has a carnival setting at the end.
Yeah, and then the carnival.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And Tyler's memorable too because he's just like this straight edge kid and he's like, "Why are you talking like that, Charles?"
And it's also funny because they finally embrace, like, let's be honest, Child's Play's premise is so stupid that by part 3 they're like, let's just embrace this stupid shit and have fun with it. So dude, that's how I kind of feel.
Dude, some of the best lines in the franchise are in that movie too. They're so good, man.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah, there's so many good ones, man. It's great. All right,
that made my top 10 surprisingly.
Yeah, I think it was. I can't. Dude, we've done so many top 10 lists. I can't remember. Fuck. And like literally, I had a top 10 Tuesdays. I've done so many lists in my life, and lists are for dummies. I can't remember. So, all right. So 1985's The Midnight Hour. Yes, this was an ABC made-for-TV movie directed by Jack Bender. Quick synopsis. Oh fuck, are you serious? Okay. Phil, Melissa, Mitch, Mary, and Vinny. Really? Who writes that? All the fucking characters' names. Our high school friends who unwittingly raise the dead on Halloween night. Once the dead have returned, Pitchfork Cove will never be the same again. Or will it? That's the stupidest fucking synopsis
first
ever.
thing, you shouldn't name your fucking town Pitchfork Cove.
Exactly.
It's Pitchford, but they call it Pitchfork.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah.
Let me
watch
ask
this
you
movie?
guys this. Did you guys see this when it came out?
No.
I didn't. I wasn't born yet.
In 85, I was 5 years old. No.
Really?
No.
Well, no, I didn't mean like literally when it came out. I mean like
No, I saw it young. I rented it. I rented it out the tape. I saw it when I was probably like 12 or something
I rented
like that.
The Midnight Hour. I don't remember. I saw it in the 90s sometime, I believe, and it was solely based on the artwork.
Yeah, it had zombies in it. That's why I got it.
Yeah, and it was just, one of those things. I rewatched it back in the 2000s. I missed the release, man, the VHS and the DVD release of this from Anchor Bay, and of course this one goes for ridiculous money, man. It's ridiculous. I've never actually copped a copy.
I have an old VHS copy of it, and then I have a bootleg, and then I have a hard box that I imported. But the hard box has a different title, and it doesn't have, during the credits, it doesn't have when Wolfman Jack says, "You're on the Midnight Hour, baby." It's actually not in there. And I was like, what the fuck? So I just watched my bootleg, or I just watched it on my Plex or on YouTube or something. Because the quality's exactly the fucking same.
Why did they cut that part out?
Because they don't call it the Midnight Hour in Germany.
But the Midnight Hour still doesn't have to refer to the title of the movie, though.
Yeah, I mean, because like the Midnight Hour is just like...
Yeah, but when the credits pop up and it says the Midnight Hour, he says, "You're on the Midnight Hour, baby." So, like, they cut it because it's just like Revenge of the Zombies.
Right.
It's not there. I was like, you cheap bastards. It's one of the best parts is the voice of Wolfman Jack throughout the entire movie on the radio.
Right.
It's a very important factor of the film.
Yeah. Yeah, that's silly. That's really silly.
Strong character actor cast. Very strong character actor cast. Everybody's in this.
Yeah, right. So, JP,
Kurtwood Smith,
you
Kevin McCarthy, Dick Van Patten.
What's that about Dick Van Patten?
I just said a bunch of character actors are in it.
Dina Viper. I don't know if you said her.
No, I didn't. LeVar Burton, fucking Harry Belafonte's daughter. What were you saying to JP, though? Sorry.
Kurtwood Smith, of course, fucking Red from the 70s show.
Got him. Well, Kevin McCarthy and Kurtwood Smith are the best.
Yeah. Yeah, he's memorable in everything, man. Smith is awesome, man. He's great. I would, like, honestly, the first thing, most people probably think of him as Red from the 70s show, but I always think of him from RoboCop. That's the first
Clarence
thing that
Boddicker.
always comes to mind for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I've seen RoboCop like 3,000 times growing up, and then the 70s show came out,
Me
and I
too.
was like, but I was like, oh, that's the dude from RoboCop, man. Fuck nice. Yeah, no, JP, you watched this for the 85 show, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if you had missed it.
Yeah,
for
I'd never
85.
seen it before that. This is the second time watch.
Oh, okay. Right. All right, well, what's your guys' thoughts on the Midnight Hour? JP, give her.
Dude, honestly, like this movie is just like a hodgepodge of like Halloween night, dude. That's what's so cool about it is it's just got everything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we had mentioned that the soundtrack is, probably a reason why it can't get released, but the soundtrack is great, and nobody ever brings this one up when they talk about soundtracks either.
No, they really don't, man. And you know what? One thing I like about the soundtrack to this movie is that it doesn't follow
fits with the movie.
Yeah, well, it doesn't follow the trend of the times. Like 1985 was a time where synth music was very, very prevalent in music in movies and stuff like that. Where this one totally doesn't. It kind of caters to the fact of like the 50s aspect of the film, and it has different types of like 80s music and stuff, but it's not that typical synth type soundtrack. It really does match what's going on in the film for once. And I think that's kind of different. The movie just feels different with that soundtrack. I think it's awesome. It's really good.
But you know what I also think's really cool about the movie? It fits in that aesthetic of like the classic 80s horror films that are big references to the 50s, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space and Night of the Creeps and The Blob and The Thing and The Fly, because it genuinely actually has a character coming back from the 50s.
Yeah.
And it's just that little fun fish out of water. It's just a perfect Halloween movie. And tonally, it's a little strange, I would say, for a lot of people because it's heartwarming, but it's also has some real violent and scary scenes. Not gory, but violent and scary scenes. But it's also heartwarming. It's a family movie from the 80s. That's kind of family TV movie from the 80s. That's kind of how they all are, right?
It's very self-aware, too,
Yeah,
man,
but
because
it does
Sandra's
feel like extremely tame, like you would think for like.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this movie is
sort of-
it's a comedy horror. It's a little bit tongue in cheek. Obviously, it's tongue in cheek. Like, there's not even really a body count in the film at all. It's more playing off a lot of.
They do go dark. I mean, the whole Kevin McCarthy story angle is really dark. The judge,
right? But I mean, it's
weird. Tonally, I could see complaints about it from some people, but I really love it. But tonally, I could see it.
But it's dark. But
Halloween's supposed to be a little scary, right?
I still think there is still enough lighthearted stuff that it overshadows maybe the darker stuff that you see in there.
Yes.
I still think there's enough. I think this movie's so self-aware with the soundtrack too. I love the scene where Sandra goes. She goes, "Oh, is this a remake of this song?" When she's talking about "Sea of Love," when he pulls up listening to Del Shannon's version, and it's not the original Phil Phillips song, right? And I was like, "Oh, that's really cool that they did that."
Yeah, I like that whole storyline with her from the 50s, and she got her like 50s cheerleading outfit on and shit.
It's very cute.
Yeah,
it's very heartwarming.
I really like that aspect of the movie,
and the fact that he's driving that like 50s car too, and like it's really well done. It's well done in that aspect.
I like the aspect of coming back from Halloween one day a year to do something, right? To correct a wrong or something, and that's what she's doing. She's like trying to find love, and then you have the one bad guy coming back to kill the judge, and also everybody's got their thing, and a lot of the zombies just want to party.
Right. Apparently, and they all want to party at the same party. That's what I love, man. That's actually one of my favorite scenes is when everyone's kind of gathering into the house and stuff like that, and all these like zombies and fucking serial killers and shit are like rolling up in there, and the guy's like, "Oh, that's a great costume. That's awesome," and stuff.
Right,
and then,
yeah.
When they smell like dog shit.
Yeah.
And also, when did fucking Thriller come out? Thriller the same year? Because they just Thriller's a year before, 84, right?
No, Thriller was in 83. I think
83.
Yeah.
So like they straight just do Thriller dances. Like we gotta get some Thriller dances in here. You know that shit.
The Get Dead
Thriller was still
the
hot.
Get Dance choreographed scene is straight just parodying Michael Jackson's Thriller. That's all it is, and it's catchy too.
It's a parody.
Like the song it's super catchy too. It's funny, but actually that scene has like one of my favorite characters in the movie is probably I don't even know how to say. It's me and the wife were like I don't even know what I'm just gonna call him the small person. That'd probably be the less offensive thing. But there's like a small person.
They actually think small people, nowadays.
Small,
is the proper term.
He's like a ghoul or whatever, and he shows up at this party, and the guy goes, "You must be from a different high school." And the girl goes, "Yeah, he must be from a different high school." And he goes, "Yeah, junior high school."
Such a bad joke too. That dude's head is enormous.
It fucking cracks me up. And then he has another great part in the film too. He's grabbing some fucking punch.
Popcorn?
No, he's grabbing some punch. And the little guy, he fucking jumps up in there and just starts drinking out of it, and I'm like, oh my god. He just kind of looks.
And that
over
other
and goes,
dead ass dude fucking eats all the popcorn and shit. Those two are just like the most comic relief, goofy characters.
Dude, he's just in there. He's going popcorn, and he's all excited and shit. It's ridiculous, man.
That dude is hamming it up so bad. That's the hammiest actor in the fucking movie.
Right. Yeah, it's awesome stuff.
You know what's weird is you think this is the same year as Return of the Living Dead and Day of the Dead and Hard Rock Zombies. So you got a lot of different kind of zombies going around. And Reanimator. It's the year of the zombie is 85.
It's the year of the Zomcom. I mean, that wasn't really a term back then, but a lot of those movies, I mean, those are pretty much all not... Well, I mean, you got Day of the Dead, obviously, was not a comic, but...
Well, there are horror comedies besides Day. I'd say horror first. This one might be more comedy horror.
This one is definitely more comedy horror. It's definitely tongue-in-cheek, and it's... I mean, dude, but it's got some pretty cool scenes, though. Like, to be honest, after they raise the dead by reading the scroll...
That part's awesome.
The whole... Like, and that's one thing about this movie that I really have always loved and enjoyed. It. Like, a lot of people think of, TV films, production value, acting, always kind of low to subpar. In this film, the acting is fine. I mean, they're hamming it up. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing, given the script. It's a comedy, right? But the fucking production value with that scene in the cemetery is fantastic. Like, there's really good atmosphere, but the scene goes on so much longer than you think it would be. You see all these dead and demons rising from, the grave and stuff like that. And it goes on way longer, which means they put a lot of money into that. There's a lot of
and there's a
effects.
Fucking werewolf, dude. There's like a oneer with all of them coming out of the graves and shit. It's very, very well done.
They could have easily just, kind of showed the atmosphere cemetery, which is really cool set. I don't know if that was a real cemetery or not, but they built that. It's really cool. And they could have just shown a couple coming out of the graves and that was it. And then just showed them at the house, but they didn't. It's like 10 minutes of these things coming out of the ground, coming out, and then, you get to, and it pans through and it shows them all. And I'm like, man, the production value on this is really good. It's really
sets
well
all the
made.
Characters up.
It does.
It's very well done, and it's definitely a great monster mash, which I love monster mashes. Yeah. Think Fright Night 2 or Waxwork or something like that. And you know what? The grave it's actually probably I don't want to be. It's not better done, but it's more impressive. Probably costs more than the Return of the Living Dead when they rise from the grave.
Right.
Or even Return of the Dead Part 2. It's equivalent to something like that.
This movie
right?
kind of feels Return of the Living Dead Part 2 to me a lot.
It does have that. Yeah. It has a very similar tone because part 2 is very goofy. It's very, very goofy. Yeah. Well, and also in part 2, it also has the Thriller, the Michael Jackson ripoff. The
Michael Jackson thing.
So this movie kind of has one too. So they did that twice in the same year. Fucking hilarious, man.
No. Return Part 2 is a different. Was that 88?
Yeah,
88. I mean, yeah, you know what I meant. They did it twice.
I got what you said. Yeah. Michael Jackson was still fucking hot in 88.
He was, man.
He was fucking. He was hot in fucking. What was that fucking goofy ass movie you watched from '94? The Monster, Malaha, the Indian one. The Michael Jackson ripoff. God, oh my god. And then there was Michael Jackson in Cemetery of Terror. The kid was wearing the Cemetery of Terror shirt. The Michael Jackson shirt. Cemetery the same year, 85.
Dude, he was everywhere.
Which is also a zombie movie.
Yeah. By the time 88 came around, Michael was a little bit lighter colored, though. Just a little bit. Yeah. So.
Well, dude, that's the thing, though, right? Like, he did Thriller, and then like every fucking zombie movie after that is like references it.
Yeah, just has to almost do their own parody, do their own version, or do like you probably even saw it even in like non-horror films too. People rocking the. I'm pretty sure there is actually people rocking those Michael Jackson red leather jackets and shit like that, just in regular movies.
Can you imagine wearing that?
I kind of like Michael Jackson rip-off things. I think about it.
It's just
never
funny.
Really
it's just stupid.
Yeah.
You know what's fucking...
But the... Good.
Oh, I was just going to say, man, you know what? I was reading in the facts on this, and I'd never read it ever before. And the first thing that caught my eye that was on here, it says Macaulay Culkin made his first ever on-screen appearance as an uncredited trick-or-treater. And I read this before I started the movie, and I was like, oh, shit, I think I know where it is. I think he's in the scene, the very first scene where there's trick-or-treaters at a house. There's like 4 or 5 kids or whatever. He doesn't say anything, but I think he's in that scene. I don't know if you guys remember, but it's a very quick scene. A couple of trick-or-treaters show up to this one house, and the dude's house. And and
dude,
I was like,
how old would he have been?
He would have been 5 because I think he's the same age as me. I think he's born in 80. So he would have been exactly the same age as me.
He was... Home Alone didn't come out till like 90, right?
90,
yeah, and he's probably like 8, 9, 10. 10, he's 10, right?
He was 10 in that movie. I think he came out 9. Yeah, something like that. So we're about the same age. But yeah, that's kind of interesting.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
You know what?
Random.
You know what scene's really intense in this movie? Like the end when the whole town's monsters, like, and they have like fucking Kurtwood Smith's the cop and he has the blood from his eyes. That's when they're like starting to push the boundaries, I think, a little bit. Like where it's like, oh, this is actually kind of scary, and they like are getting attacked, mobbed in the car. That shit's pretty intense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could imagine if you were like,
a kid,
10 or something, watching this on the ABC Movie of the Week or whatever, like a lot of people. I mean, that's like what's that chick's name? Amanda Reyes. Is that what it is?
The lady who does all the TV.
Yeah. Like, I mean, when you hear them talk about like the impact of these films from their youth on like TV, a lot of people remember this stuff so much. It had a profound effect on them and their love for horror. I missed almost all of that. There was still some TV movies being made when I was growing up, but it was not like
well, you had the anthology shows like Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark, which is equivalent.
I remember the TV movies kind of really tatering off like after about the mid 90s. Like you would see them every once in a while up to that point, and then it was like, you still had some of the anthology shows and stuff, but the actual movies, they were.
Then you just had Lifetime shit.
Yeah.
Well, there was like a few more Stephen King ones in the 90s. Yeah. Like Storm of the Century and shit. That was like a big deal.
Yeah, those were like kind of the miniseries.
Yeah, miniseries feel a little different though.
They weren't just like a one night fucking TV movie the week kind of thing. I guess so. Where this would have been.
I kind of always lumped it.
It's funny too because this movie, I don't know who the fuck did the programming for this or who thought this up, but this movie actually premiered on November 1st.
Well, that's fucking stupid.
Must have been a Saturday. That's
November
probably when trick-or-treating was that day. That was probably when trick-or-treating was.
Yeah, I was like, that is ridiculous, dude. That's so stupid. But I don't know. I wonder how it did for ratings. They're like, I don't want to watch a Halloween movie. That shit. Why are you bringing up old shit? Why are you bringing up old shit? Like the fucking night before.
One scene that I find interesting is when the vampire attack in the wine cellar it's almost like next level for the movie. It's just a very professional, almost like, I guess, I'd say like an almost quality movie theater scene right there with wines exploding and shit. Very cool.
It is, man. It's very theatrical, man. Like, I mean, you got these bottles spraying out, obviously mimicking blood, but we know it's red wine kind of thing and stuff. That's actually one part of the narrative that is I've never understood about this movie, and I've questioned it for as long as I can even remember watching this movie, is so that part, like, okay, so our main character, Melissa, basically she gets attacked by her, I guess would have been her great grandmother, right? And but like great, yeah, exactly. But like, you know, kind of rewind to the beginning of the film when Buddy's doing his presentation about, you know, the history of the town and witches and things like that and stuff. I mean, you get to know,
which I like that
yeah, it tells you the whole. It's very typical 80s, right? To give you the whole narrative before you get into it, kind of thing, right? This is exactly what we're going to be doing, kind of thing. But you know, they basically know what her great grandmother looks like and stuff, and I'm like, man. So she shows up at the party. She's obviously a little bit older, and no one ever questions this. Melissa never questions it. Like, who are you? Why are you here? Like, she doesn't catch on to who she might be. I mean, obviously, you're like, you got to put yourself into the movie mind too. Like, you're not gonna obviously think that, you know, this is what's going on.
Yeah, and there's also zombies there. Nobody's questioning. You know, people aren't like,
no. I mean but that's also costume. Her great grandmother. She just looks normal, right? Like, it's just
she's in like a weird robe. She looks like she's in the vampire.
But her face isn't covered. Like, her face is like straight up. You know, I mean, I think the pictures that they would have saw of her before would have kind of looked like that because, you know,
would she have had pictures though? Because she was burned at the stake. I mean, that's a long time ago, Moodz.
Yeah, it was great. Like, I don't even if I saw my great grandmother, I wouldn't even recognize her. And I've seen pictures of her.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if they show like a flash picture when he's doing his presentation, or maybe from when they stole.
I don't think there is.
Yeah, maybe there isn't. Maybe not even when they stole the. No, there is. Isn't there like a wax thing of her?
Yeah, there is a wax sculpture. Yeah.
That's what I remember. I couldn't remember if it was from the presentation,
like her,
but
though?
In the museum where they steal the trunk full of the real costumes. I really like that idea. Actually, steal the real costumes and dress up like a real fucking. That's actually really cool. But yeah, there's a wax impression of her, and that got me thinking again. I was like, shit, man, wouldn't she know what she looks like? Because she's not like a zombie. Like, you wouldn't recognize the fucking Nestor.
Yeah, she's a vampire anyways.
Yeah, like, I mean, her face looks pretty damn
normal.
So it
was
but
300 years earlier.
Yeah, but I always thought it was interesting because she kind of looks like her. Like, they made her look like Melissa too.
They do that a lot.
Oh yeah.
Like, she's very similar to her.
Did what?
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Moodz.
But yeah, like I said though, like, she looks pretty damn normal. You think that you would just kind of catch on to that and stuff. It's just something I've always kind of bugged me. I'm just like, because she's like downstairs having a conversation with her and stuff, and they just never catches on, and then obviously gets a little bit attacked and stuff. But yeah, I mean,
by the way,
maybe
that was a Thursday. It was a Friday, November 1st. 85.
Was it? Yeah,
it makes sense. Probably, but I wonder if she was putting the vampires usually have charm, and she definitely had charm because she was charming people and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel did you guys notice the structure?
Okay,
is very similar to Ernest Scared Stupid. How they have the story in the beginning in the school classroom, and then they basically unleash the same fucking trauma on the town.
It's like identical. But this has kind of been like a trope in horror films forever, though, where you will have like the school history lesson, or the teacher will be giving a lesson, or the student will be giving a presentation, and then all of a sudden that's what our narrative is.
Is that Legend of Sleepy Hollow? You think it stems from that?
Probably. Yeah, that's.
I mean, it's very similar. And this movie has a very Ray Bradbury quality to me. Like
What's
something
Ray
Wicked This Way
Bradbury?
Comes, or the Halloween Tree, something like that. It feels a little bit like that.
Yeah,
I've never seen any
it feels
of that
Ray
either.
Bradbury. But Ray Bradbury was a writer. And
I
stuff,
can see
and
that. I can see that. Yeah.
Just to me,
You know what I love, man? I love the history of, like, well, they don't really get into it too much, but like the serial killer Nestor, what was it, Vernon Nestor? I love that name for like a killer
awesome.
and stuff. But
he's huge too.
But that's
Sounds like a serial killer.
But that's a great example of someone that shows up at the party that no one recognizes because he's been rotting. He's a fucking zombie, right?
Yeah.
Like, you would never be like, oh my god, that's Nestor. That's Vernon Nestor over there. You know?
Did he go to the party? I thought he just went and killed the judge.
Did he not show up there?
He might have.
I think eventually. I think
there's a lot of people at that party.
That's the thing, man. There's like a million different, and that's the other thing I love about this movie, man. Like, not only that, the fact that they show that cemetery scene with all these, all these creatures and all that shit, but like, so many of those creations end up at the party, and they really show. There's so much.
There's just a lot of like physical people in this movie.
Yeah, dude. There's a lot of good stuff that's going on, man. It's crazy.
There's a lot of chaos.
Yeah. and it feels like the town is like lived in too, because there's so many people and stuff like that. I love how movies used to do that. I feel like they don't really do that anymore.
It's just kind of like a classy, like kind of good versus evil, right? With her Sandra character versus like, you know, the rest of the evil. I like that, man. You got the one fucking character that's there to do good versus all the shit. I love that shit, man.
Yeah,
but it's done
and
better.
Very likable too.
It's very likable, right? Yeah, because a lot of those kind of good versus evil type films, you know, it's like, oh, fuck, whatever. They are what they are. But you know, I was thinking back to the soundtrack. Actually, man, there's a fucking CCR song on here. And
Bad Moon Rising.
Bad Moon Rising.
Every movie.
And I'm thinking, man, yeah, I mean, I know John Fogerty, like, I know at one time was a little bit crazy about his shit in movies and stuff like that. I wonder if that is, because it always seems like when there's music problems within a film, there's always like one or two songs that they can never clear. So they just say, fuck it.
It's probably that one.
I'm thinking
they got Midnight Hour on here too. They got so many hits on this song. I should pull up the soundtrack. It's insane. Like for a TV movie, like, yeah, read some of them. It's going to be insane. Like
the Midnight Hour.
Yeah, they've got
Wilson Pickett.
Little Red Riding.
They got both versions of Sea of Love.
Sam the Sham.
Baby,
on there.
I'm Yours.
Yeah.
Who sings that one?
Told me
Little Red Riding Hood.
Devil or Angel. How Soon Is Now.
How Soon Is Now is one of my favorite songs. I love that song by the Smiths, man. It's fucking amazing. It's like,
yeah, dude, the Smiths, fucking CCR, they got too much people on there.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, and I know with fucking CCR and stuff, like there's shit, like even Three Dog Night, man, there's probably some shit going on there. But John Fogerty, yeah, I've heard things in the past with their music and rights and stuff like that. So it probably has something to do with that. I put money on it.
I guarantee it.
I guarantee it. Totally, man. But yeah, the Smiths,
no doubt, because TV rights are different.
That's why Trick or Treat isn't out too, really.
Right.
Well, hopefully we can hope for like a nice British release for Midnight Hour, and we can all import it if it has any popularity.
Yeah, because music rights,
I feel it's very American.
They do. They work differently in different countries, and it's so weird. Yeah. Like rights are so tricky, especially with music. Yeah.
It's possible that they can get it. It's just like, do you risk? You know, it's a risk to clear those rights. You know what I mean? And because you have to pay, so it's like if the title doesn't sell well, that's why a lot of people don't like touching stuff that has a lot of music rights.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But it's possible. I'm sure we'll see it eventually.
Well,
never say never.
Yeah. See, music rights. Like, I mean, if you have a movie with like it has no original soundtrack and stuff, it's just so much cheaper to obtain, right? And it's a lot less headache too, right? I mean, you got to think about like even, you know, you're not just getting the rights to the movie and the music. Like you got to, everything is individual at this point. All these you're dealing with different, different record companies, different rights owners, all this shit. Like, you know, you look at the soundtrack, there's 12 songs. Like that's a fucking headache, dude, to clear all that shit.
And like nowadays too, like usually when movies are made, they clear that rights stuff ahead of time to where like any future like releases will include that stuff. But like back then they didn't know.
Well, they didn't do a lot of that. Like, exactly.
Media.
Well, they couldn't even get Ally McBeal cleared, and that's a huge show. They couldn't get that werewolf show cleared. It's just not going to happen. It might not happen in the States. It might have to happen in Germany or UK or something.
Like
I feel like Germany never clears anything. They just put shit out.
Yeah. Wonder Years was so fucking tied up with music rights.
They cleared everything?
Yeah. Not everything. I think
they,
like 5.
Yeah, they cleared like 98% of it or something like that.
Yeah. Same thing with Daria. I don't know if you guys ever seen Daria.
Yeah, the animated show.
Yeah, that had like a shit ton of music from MTV days, and they cleared I think like 80% of that.
Yeah, it's like the Beavis and Butthead show, right? You know, like all the music videos that they watch and shit. They released all the DVD. Like it had none of the music videos because it would have been way too expensive to clear. Way too expensive to clear and way too long to clear because there was a million of them. So if you never watch the original episodes on TV and shit like that, they've never. I don't think you'll ever see them get released.
That's the kind of shit you buy in a bootleg. You buy the you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know
not fucking Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 4. And
someone needs to release Beavis and Butthead, like the whole thing, just totally uncut and with all the videos and stuff. Because the videos were always the funnest part, man. Them ripping on.
I love the videos, especially like when it would be like fucking Beastie Boys or like fucking Snoop Dogg or something. I mean, Beavis always like fucked with rap.
I always like the Sir Mix-a-Lot fucking Baby Got Back when they did that. That shit was funny as hell, man. Fucking Beavis shaking his ass fucking makes me laugh every time.
Yeah.
So
dude, have you watched the new one? The new series?
It's I haven't actually. No.
It's great.
I used to have like all the original ones on VHS, man. I used to record it like every week and shit. And oh man, I wish I still had those.
Oh, I love that. That was one of my.
We used to throw them on all the
up.
time in like early '90s and just sit around and just howl. Fuck, it never.
That was the only thing I wasn't allowed to watch growing up.
Really?
Why?
I was allowed to watch any horror movie, but like I was forbid to watch.
I was thinking
Beavis
your
and Butthead.
generation would have been South Park, because I remember when South Park came out in like '97, it was like every parent was
Right.
like, "You guys aren't allowed to watch South Park," and then it just got so much worse.
Yeah. Well, honestly, my grandfather thought that it would make me stupid because he thought it was like just the stupidest shit ever.
Brain rot.
It's so funny
like
because
he literally thought that it would make me dummer. So that was like his reason.
it's so funny because that show, before it became what it is now, before they started just doing world topics and stuff like that. Like that, I mean, it was pretty mindless. I mean, it was a lot of dick and fart jokes.
Oh,
It was
talking
real
about South
raunchy
Park?
trash. Yeah,
It
there
was-
was like jokes about people
Oh,
just
yeah,
screwing
yeah.
pigs.
But then when they
Yeah,
season 4, I think is
They
when they
got
changed
really
their
smart
format.
eventually.
When they changed it, into, like I think it was season 4 when they started dealing with just topics, right? Shit that was happening, world
Yeah.
events and current events and stuff. And that's when that show is so fucking smart, man. Like I was actually just telling the wife the other day because my kid's like, that show's so inappropriate. I'm like, dude, you wouldn't understand fucking 99.9 of the shit that they're even doing in that. It's so clever.
Yeah, actually, Carly, she never watched it, and I was like, no, like I know you think it's just like stupid like fart jokes, but like it's actually like the later seasons get like real, or not even later, but like I think you're right, like season 4.
I think it's season 4.
They get really interesting, and they
The current events is like the best way to do a show because you never run out of fucking ridiculous shit to make fun of. Because
and
it's like,
some of the
also
stuff, some
dates
of the
your show,
ways
though,
that
too.
they tie it into the show
Yeah.
is fucking genius.
I know, man. It's just incredible, dude. Sometimes I'm just like, I scratch my head and go, holy fuck. And they did, if you know how they make the show too, they make it in like 4 or 5 days, right? Just on the spot. And it's just like, fuck, they're just geniuses, man. So good. But anyways, against, 22 shots of tangents and horror. Yeah, what else do we have to say about the Midnight Hour? It's great.
I think I'm good.
It's really,
it's just one of those movies that is like perfect for this season, and it has like Dave said, it's a monster mash, and you definitely don't see that shit nowadays.
It's just such a great time. It's got such a great tone to the movie. It's not overly goofy. It has goofy moments, but it's got a lot of great atmosphere. It's got so much production value. It still blows my mind how much production value is in the film. They took
likable ass characters.
Yes,
too.
lots of likable characters, and it's not like, and that's what I like about this, because when you deal with like zomcoms and like horror like sometimes they just get so like a lot of the jokes they miss. It just gets boring and shit. Like this one is just right to the end. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating film.
And it sets up their characters effortlessly. It doesn't take a long time to do it, and it just does it, and it has an ultimate Halloween feel to it.
No, the pacing's great in this movie, man. I mean, they do what they got to do. They set it up with the history lesson, the hot substitute teacher, which is so 80s cliche, but I love it. They're cheering and shit like, oh, she's hot.
And Belafonte's daughter is gorgeous, man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She got magic eyes, She had passion in her eyes. She had passion in her eyes.
Oh, Lord. Okay, so we rating this bad puppy?
Yep. All right, you can go first, JP.
I fucking really like this movie. I think that I gave it a 7.5 the first time I watched it. I'm going 8.5 now.
All right, Dave.
Exactly the same. I don't know why I gave it 7.5. I was being conservative back in the day with my ratings. 8.5. It's one of the better TV movies I've ever seen. I've always loved it. I have a close, kind of a connection to it, and I think it captures the Halloween spirit better than 90% of Halloween movies. So 8.5.
I don't know what I gave it on the show, and I'm assuming it must be around at least a 9. So I'm going with a 9 out of 10. Love it. It's great.
Sweet.
It's such a fun movie. All right, so that is The Midnight Hour from 1985.
22 shots.
All right, so getting into another featured review here from 1995, the one and only Jacko, directed by Steve Latshaw. Steve Latshaw is one of those guys that you're like, who? And then I look at his filmography and I'm like, I've seen way too many of his fucking movies, man. So we watched Vampire Trailer Park for 91. I've seen Dark Universe before. I have the DVD. Biohazard.
And we watched Biohazard for 85.
I watched that one.
And then Jack.
This guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a protege, I think, or he was under Fred Olen Ray.
He was,
I think Fred Olen Ray produced a lot of his movies, so he's a Florida guy.
Including this one.
Yeah.
I mean, including Vampire Trailer Park, you definitely know that takes place in Florida. Where else would it be?
You know what I just totally remembered right now. I meant to do this. Okay, so last time I watched this movie was a couple years ago, and I said to myself after, because I kept forgetting to watch this film with the commentary on. So apparently in the commentary,
I hear this too.
Steve Ladshaw and Fred and Olen Ray, they start arguing, and they're like, they're beefing, man. They're beefing during the commentary. Apparently it's really fucking hilarious. And I forgot till right now when you said Fred and Olen Ray, and I was like, shit, I should have watched it this time. Fuck.
Yeah, and I believe that the director actually gets up and walks out at one point.
Really?
Yeah, because he's all pissed off. Because actually, when I picked this up at Living Dead Weekend with the Linnea Quigley autograph on it, which I paid, I think, $30 for, which is probably too much.
Well, I mean, you got an autograph. That's $15-20 right there.
Yeah,
true.
That's not bad.
I think I have Linnea's autograph. But the dude that was like selling it to me was he was a salesman because he's like, yeah, you got to check it out for the commentary, man. Commentary is amazing. It's like legend.
That's awesome.
That's all he cares about.
Yeah, that
commentary's $25. The movie's $5.
Yeah.
That's good shit, man.
I do love a good commentary, though. I don't listen to them as much as I should. I would like to.
I would like to listen to more of them too. I just don't really have the time. I watched the movie.
I'd be curious to see two guys fight on a commentary and then they still put it out. That's kind of comedy gold.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's funny.
Like that's good shit. Like I remember, I remember John Carpenter and Jamie Lee were kind of like arguing a little bit. They were in one of the Halloween releases.
All right.
I always hear that Kurt Russell makes jokes during the commentaries with John Carpenter, and John Carpenter just is serious, and it makes Kurt Russell just laugh. Or he's fucking like John Carpenter doesn't even give a fuck.
Right.
Yep.
Kurt Russell's all jovial and happy.
Oh, I can see that shit, man. I can see that shit. All right, so quick little synopsis. Well, I don't know if this is going to be quick. I'll try to read this off because it's what I do. All right, so synopsis. A long time ago, a wizard was put to death, but he swore vengeance on the townfolk that did him in. And I love reading these things word for word because sometimes they're worded so shitty. Particularly Arthur Kelly's family. Arthur had done the final graces on him, which I'm assuming him means Jacko, when he came back to life as Mr. Jack, the Pumpkin Man. There you go. The Kellys proliferated through the years. And when some devil may care teens accidentally unleashed Jacko, young Sean Kelly must stop him somehow. A suburban world is ascaded to, and we're not going to read the rest of that because it doesn't even make sense. So, yeah, young Sean Kelly, which is actually played by Steve Ladshaw's son in the film.
I did know that.
Yes.
His performance is pretty silly. I did laugh a couple times,
dude.
I'm not trying to be a dick.
Every time I watch this movie, there is like one part that I fucking howl at so bad. But I'm not even joking, and I don't even really want to be overly mean, but like, it was obviously maybe a budget thing. They needed a kid, and they're like, hey, I'll just throw my kid in there. But every time I watch this movie, I just see the son, Sean, being like, why the fuck am I here? I don't want to be here. He has no emotion in anything he says, and he just looks grumpy as shit. And he delivers all his lines in the wrong emotion. And oh my god, it's the funniest performance of all time. It's ridiculous.
I don't think any of the acting's particularly good in this.
No, the best actress in the film is Julie, played by Rachel Carter. She's Leanna Quigley's sister in the film. She's the one on the bike.
They look nothing alike.
No, but she's hot, man. Like, she's good. Like, I don't really think she did a whole lot more, but you know, it's funny. Okay, so this movie is really interesting, man. It's directed by, like I said, Steve Ladshaw. It's, you know, written by Olen Ray, produced. I think he might have produced, I don't know. But it's so weird because it has like all these cult classic fucking actors and actresses in it and shit, and it's like a lot of them are just underutilized. They're just, it's ridiculous. So John Carradine.
Well, John Carradine had been dead for 7 years.
Yeah, so that scene is so terrible.
So they
when you
filmed,
see the stand-in.
Yeah, they'd filmed the scene like apparently like 8 or 10 years prior or something like that, and they ended up using. He was the wizard. He was like the wizard dude in the film, whatever.
Did he
So
dead for 7
they use like a,
and they shot that. Do you see the stand-in? Like in the wide shots, there's a stand-in that's not John Carradine sitting there.
Yeah, but they like hyper expose the fucking the elements or something like that, and it just looks so bad the way they did it on screen and shit. But so you have John Carradine, who has been dead for years, who appears in this film.
7 years. Dude.
His last movie was Jacko because they sat on his fucking film roll.
Right. And then you got fucking Leanna Quigley's in the film, of course, and she's got a decent sized role in the film. I mean, she
got a shower scene, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, she's like 37.
Her character gets introduced in the film in the shower, and she's just like, she's rubbing her tits and ass, and she's not even, there's no soap on her hands. It's amazingly sleazy. Yeah,
actually, Cameron Mitchell died before.
Oh, the Cameron Mitchell is I think it might be a worse scene than a John Carradine because he's just on the TV and he's like, "I'm Count so and so."
This is what I love about this. So they got so cheap. You had to have some names in this film. So they got Cameron Mitchell. So Cameron Mitchell, I think, actually died before the movie even came out. But he plays.
Yeah, no, he didn't. Did he? He died too.
So, yeah, he died before.
Does this movie kill these people?
Right. So he plays a character on this TV show, this fictional TV show on TV, whatever that they're watching.
He's a horror.
He plays Dr. Cadaver. Dr. Cadaver. And one of the episodes has Brink Stevens in it, who plays a witch. Yeah. And I'm like, so they have John Carradine, Cameron Mitchell, Brink Stevens in roles that are just so if you blink, you're missing them. Like, it's fucking
on the box though,
especially because
it's so hilarious.
She's just like the fucking in a movie called The Coven or something.
Yeah, The Coven.
Was that like an unfinished movie by them, or like a short movie they filmed and just decided to throw it in here?
Apparently, I think I've looked into this one time. They actually shot those scenes to put into this movie. That's what they used her character for. Yes.
They probably just did it on another movie they were shooting her with, and they were just like, do these real quick for me.
I think actually the story goes is those scenes were shot for something that never got released. It was like for an
anthology. That's what I was thinking, yeah.
And they used the footage and they put it on the TV just to have the names in there, so it was Brink Stevens.
That's some fucking Charles Band shit.
And Cameron Mitchell. Yeah, exactly. And that's what always made me laugh about this movie. I'm like, there's so many cult names in this film, and all of them are underutilized. It's ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure that was just footage from that, what is it, Tear on Tape with Cameron Mitchell when he's in that fucking video store. That anthology. Where he's just talking about tapes. Like, that one's really spooky. They just got like B-roll for that and threw it in this movie.
Oh my God.
Your name's Count Cadaver now. What am I doing?
Yeah. Ooh. So this movie right here has the most typical... It has literally the most typical fucking setup ever. You know, it's like it's got this backstory with, this family.
It's honestly kind of a ripoff of Pumpkinhead.
No, it is.
Yeah, I was going to say that little thong is like definitely a Pumpkinhead ripoff.
It is Pumpkinhead. It pretty much is.
And he actually has a Pumpkinhead this time.
Yeah.
That's like Fredo and Ray Washington's like, there ain't no fucking Pumpkinhead in this movie. I'll make my own damn Pumpkinhead movie with an actual Pumpkinhead.
Right. You know the funny thing about Pumpkinhead itself, though? He doesn't actually look that bad. Like the mask.
No, Jacko looks awesome.
Yeah,
dude.
like Jacko doesn't. I said Pumpkinhead, but yeah. So, I'm just gonna say Pumpkin Man. But Jacko, like his mask actually isn't like a fucking like a static mask. It actually like the mouth moves and shit. So they actually put a little bit of effort into the actual.
Yeah, he's cool.
Like, and there's actually like some half fucking there's like 2 good shots in this movie. One when he's in like a door frame and it's like foggy and shit, and then one when they're outside and he's like in the moonlight.
Yeah
And I'm like, okay.
But I don't hate this. No, like, this isn't that bad.
I've seen this movie,
but it's entertaining.
I've seen this movie so many times. I actually really like this movie. I think it's a bad movie, but I really enjoy this because it's got so many qualities to it that just, I don't know, man. It just all kind of works. This movie feels so damn 90s. It really fucking feels.
This is a factual, so bad it's good type of.
Dude, it's so 90s. But like Jacko looks cool. Like I like the weapon he uses, the scythe or whatever, and the mask looks pretty cool. The legend is silly. It is what it is, right? Like it's somebody that like conjures, like this person dies and conjures up this fucking thing, and he comes back, and this family kills him, and so now basically Jacko's back to like hunt down the Kellys, all the generations of Kellys and stuff. And the thing that makes me laugh about this movie is how they kind of like keep elevating the narrative, where the reason why his great-great-grandfather never actually laid Jacko to rest when he killed him the one time is because he wasn't the 5th generation down the line to do it. Only the 5th generation.
5th generation.
Dude, it makes me laugh.
Who makes these rules up?
No, but you know what happened in the end of the movie? They literally wrote that in. They're like, oh, well, we got to come up with something kind of clever, because, why didn't he die the first time when he buried him? Because he doesn't die unless it's the 5th generation person, which is fucking Sean Kelly. And I'm like, oh my God, they're leaving it up to this kid? A fucking piece of wood can act better than this kid.
Dude. Did he even kill him? I don't even remember. Didn't a dad kill him?
No, he doesn't even kill him. It's like ridiculous.
Guys, I love that they have this haunted house in their garage, and they're like charging $1 to get in. Who does that on Halloween? Like, who makes a homemade haunted house that charges $1 to go in?
Like $13.
Isn't it for the actual people in the neighborhood? Like, you're just supposed to, like, you know, just build that shit and
charging them,
open it up to the neighborhood and stuff. It's ridiculous, but
that dad is so cheap.
Oh,
and I love that all the women are just hitting on him constantly.
I know, it's fucking weird too.
Yeah. Oh man.
He must cook one hell of a barbecue. I don't know.
Yeah, and fucking like, dude, the acting is like so fucking bad in certain parts of this movie, dude.
Dude,
It's really bad.
Almost everybody is really bad. Like the Leanne Quigley's, you know, she's pretty normal in this. Like, she's not.
She's a campy actress. That's her MO.
Yeah, that's what she does.
She does not come off any like worse to me.
The worst to me though, like one of the worst is the character of Vivian. She's the one that shows up at the, you know, when Sean saves her from getting rocks thrown at her and stuff like that, and then it turns out that she's there to basically hunt down Jacko because her family was part of this whole thing with the Kellys and stuff like that, which I think is the stupidest part of the narrative ever, because she literally does fucking nothing through the whole film.
And then
she never hunts him down once. And that was leading me into one of my favorite parts in the film. Her death is fucking hilarious. Jacko takes a Sith, puts it right through her guts, and then it turns into a dummy death. He fucking throws her over and it's clearly a dummy, and it kills me every single time. Which my favorite part in the movie, man, is like, I don't know, watching Sean, like Ryan Ladshaw's performance in this film has to be, it's so comical. It's a great movie to watch with your friends because everything he says, like I said, is in the wrong tone or the wrong emotion or whatever. And one of the greatest sines is towards the end where he's kind of like buried in the ground, you know, shit like that, and his parents are being attacked, and he turns around and he goes, he's like, what's the actual quote he says? He's like, stay away from my parents. And the way he says it, there's like no emotion. He's like, stay away from my parents. Or he's like, leave my parents alone. And they're like being killed. And he's like, leave my parents alone.
I think the worst actor in the movie is that old guy that tells him the story in the beginning.
At the beginning,
that guy that's just like some old drunk, and he reminds me of the fucking stepfather in Halloween Ends.
You know what makes me laugh?
Not a good actor.
You know what makes me laugh about that too is like, you know, how we brought this up. It's pretty much like a Pumpkinhead ripoff, but the beginning of the movie starts out as a Madman Mars Madman ripoff.
Dude, right? Yeah, it does feel like Madman fucking Mars.
It's the same thing. It's literally the fucking same setup. And yeah, so he shows
Except
up later.
Doesn't have a cool ass song.
Yeah, so he shows up later in the film.
That cool ass Pumpkinhead rip isn't cool?
Dude, it's pretty shitty.
I love that the dad remembers it. He's like, I remember that song.
Right. Like when that guy shows up later in the film and all he can do is just laugh. This like terribly forced laugh in the book. It's like, oh my God, bro. Everything he said, and then he doesn't laugh when he says trick or treat, and then it cuts away and you're expecting him to be like, ha 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 ha. You know, it's fucking ridiculous. It's
Dude,
so
what's up with fucking Linnea Quigley when she's like, I love little boys?
Dude,
something?
It's one of my favorite lines, man. I love that shit. And he's kind of looking at her, and I'm like looking at the kid, and I'm like, this is awkward.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
Because she's the fucking babysitter. The babysitter shouldn't be saying I like little boys.
Right.
That's
like, what are you, the babysitter police?
Dude.
Like if a dude said that, if there was a guy and he's like, I love little girls, you'd be like, lock this motherfucker up right now.
Man, this movie is like the epitome of like 90s. What do you think this thing was shot on, Dave? Do you think it was like an early, because there's even a little bit of CG towards the end, like that early mid-90s CG.
I watched it on DVD. Yeah. I don't know what it was shot on.
I know. I'm thinking this might have been like early DV or something like that, because I don't think it's film. It's got to be like digital video or something. I don't know, man. Like the picture quality is really hard to explain. It's not video. Like it's not shot on VHS video. It's obviously not fully digital. This is 95. It's not film. It's got to be like early like DV, because it has that type of quality, but it just makes it feel so damn 90s. It almost has like a really off full moon feel to it, especially with the score in the film. It really does kind of feel like that to me. But yeah, I just this movie's super fucking 90s. It just feels so damn 90s to me, man.
It was shot on 35, bro.
This was oh man, maybe it's the DVD transfer then, because it doesn't even look anything like a fucking like a film print, does it, Dave?
I think it is shot on film. What was it shot on?
$35.
What?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
That's
I think the credits are probably like digital because sometimes they do that in the digital. I don't know what it shows.
Well, no, I know.
Like, I watched the DVD and it doesn't look great.
The death of Jacko, there's a CG part in that. That's not practical.
Yeah, there's definitely like some, I don't know if it's necessarily CG. It could be that in-camera effect stuff.
It could be like that hyperimposed.
It doesn't look good.
Did they hyperimpose like fucking fire on him or something like that? Like if it was shot on film, you could just put film over film. They just used a fire scene and put it on fucking Jacko. I don't know.
I was like half zoning out while watching this. Like I was watching it and just like, what the fuck is this? Like half the time, but I enjoyed it. I don't know how to explain it.
Like it's got a decent kill count too. And I always find it so funny in these movies where like they try to elevate, they have this crazy backstory and then the narrative keeps growing by like, you know, the 5th generation person is the only person that can take down the evil of Jacko and blah, blah, blah. But then, you know, Jacko comes back and his sole purpose is supposed to be killing and going after the Kellys. Well, the majority of the film, he's just killing like random fucking people. When he kills that dude outside, and then he kills. Actually, he doesn't really kill the wife. The wife actually slips and puts her fucking knife into the toaster, and then it has that really ridiculous.
That's the worst scene in the whole movie,
dude. That fake ass electric fucking effect is so funny, dude. And then her face, it's almost like comical. It turns into like a comedy.
I love that they act like they're super rich and like important and shit, but like you see their house and like all the shit they have, they're eating like TV dinners and watching a shitty TV. Yeah. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
That was another huge thing, man, in that time was TV dinners and shit. You know what really cracks me up about this movie? And I remember this shit from like the early 90s and mid 90s. Do you ever remember watching TV at odd times and like you'd be doing something and you just kind of keep it on a channel and then like one of these like weird infomercial like political propaganda fucking bullshit would come up? Like you don't see that shit on TV anymore, but like they kept playing it through the film and I kept thinking to myself, and I've never been able to figure out why he put this in the film. What was the point of showing all that fucking weird political propaganda? Because this movie was already running like 85 minutes or whatever. Like you didn't need to fucking put that shit in there. So
I'm not sure.
It's weird, right? Because they show that fake ass Dr. Cadaver with Brink Stevens. I get that. Whatever. You want to put those names in there. I get what he's doing. But what's the point of that like political fucking weird propaganda, religious fucking garbage that's I never understood it. Never understood it. It's fucking strange to me, man.
Also, that dude on the bike's kind of a dork.
Yeah. Yeah, he dies.
Yeah, he was lame.
He dies.
And he's a douchebag, too. He's like, I'm going to leave you in the woods. He's like, bro, don't leave people in the woods. That's not a joke.
No. So, like...
Leave me in the woods. If I find you again, I'm going to hit you upside your fucking head.
I love how they just pull over to the side of the road and she like takes her top off. But what are you guys gonna fuck right here on like the side of the road? Like what's going on here?
Yeah, he gets dead good though, man, because he gets decapitated, and that was a decent death. You know, the head rolls into his girlfriend's legs, between her legs. I like that. It's okay.
Yeah.
There's a couple like it's. I don't know, man. I like the electrocution death. I think it's so bad and cheesy. I think it's hilarious. Her husband dying was pretty good. There's some decent deaths. I mean, come on. At least they were trying. They were trying. I mean, obviously not with the casting. They weren't trying when they casted this movie, but maybe they thought they'd make up for with the awesome kills. I don't know what's going on, but
well, this was a movie that did, I believe, pretty well on the video store shelves.
I rented it, man. It got me. How could you not rent that shit with that fucking awesome?
I didn't rent it. I don't know why. This is the first time watch for me. I should have rented it. It looked like something I'd rent. I wonder if they didn't have it.
Get the fuck out of here.
My video store.
This is a fucking first time watch? Oh, damn. Yeah. I should have started with you on this one. Shit, I thought that you'd seen this one like me, like way too many fucking times.
I should have.
I thought I've seen this movie before, but it turns out I saw another horrible fucking movie called Jack-O-Lantern.
Oh, dude, that one is real fucking bad. Really bad.
Real fucking bad.
Yeah, so... I don't know, man. I guess I have a little bit of nostalgia for this. I probably saw it probably around the time it came out on video. I don't know. I was one of those guys that video box art. Yep, yoink. I'm renting that shit.
I should have rented it. It had a fucking pumpkin head on it.
But
it definitely didn't have it where I was.
Yeah, no. I
wonder if my mom, if there was like nudity on the back or something, she's like, I don't know about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the part too, like where those, typical bullshit where the fucking teenagers they go to find what's hidden in the fucking cemetery, the legend of Jacko and stuff, and
that feels like Pumpkinhead.
It's totally Pumpkinhead. And I like when he throws the beer over, or he throws the beer into the fucking into the forest there, and he's like, "Hey, that had beer in it." He says
no shit, right?
I'm like, it's the worst fucking dialogue ever. I'm like, oh my god, this is what we're watching. This is ridiculous. But yeah, anyways, they get all dead too. So I guess we're spoiling some things in this movie, so just let people know.
Got to put the bumper in.
Yeah, I usually
gonna
do
break
for
a
these.
lot of people's hearts for Jacko.
Yeah, spoiling that electrocution death, and
I love that she has a fucking British accent. It's all so put on.
Leave my parents alone.
She's like, I agree with your politics. She's just fucking agreeing with everything her trash husband says.
Dude, I fucking hate the Vivian character, man. It's so bad. Like, she's literally just hanging out at the house, which is actually Steve Latshaw's real house in real life, where they filmed all those scenes. That's his real house. And then she just, like, it's supposed to be like a twist where she's involved and like, this is what I'm doing. I'm hunting him down. I'm like, no, you're not. You're hanging out drinking wine. Fuck.
This guy made Return of the Killer Shrews in 2012.
I don't think I ever saw that one.
Yeah, I can't say that like remaking it or making a sequel of a public domain film isn't like high on my list of things to check out.
Right.
And especially he didn't really direct anything for a long time, and then all of a sudden he directed that one. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of his output came from what, like the mid '80s to like the mid '90s. Yeah, Death Mask too was another one I think he did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have much to say about Jacko. Like I knew I was
feel
gonna
like we said way more than I thought we were going to be able to say.
Yeah,
I don't know how to rate this. I don't know how to rate this movie.
I'm just happy that the hot sister, Leanna Quigley's sister, survived in the film because she was hot. I always like her. That's all I got to. That's all I got to say.
I
about
like
that.
Linnea as well.
Yeah, no, she's always fine.
Yeah,
she's always fine. I mean, I like her introduction scene is just the sleaziest thing ever. Like, you got to have that tits and ass in there, but it's just like so ridiculous. Because every time I watch, I'm like, so funny. She's not even using soap to clean herself. That's not very hygienic. Come on, you got to use soap. It's ridiculous.
Who, Linnea? She's soaping her up.
I don't know. I don't think there's much lather there. I think it's more about just having her hand on her nipples and butt. But
yeah, I think that's what's going on, Moodz. I don't know why you're worried about the soap.
No, I'm just being a dummy. I'm just being a dummy.
You heard it here first. Linnea Quigley is not very hygienic.
No,
person.
she doesn't use soap in the shower. Come on, man, that's ridiculous. Who doesn't do that?
How do you know she didn't already soap off and she's just like, wants to feel her beautiful bod?
Yeah,
true. It is very, very true. All right, well, I'll go first. I always stick with the same rating on this. I actually really like Jacko. I think it's a bad, fun movie. It's got some hilarious kills. It's got some ridiculously bad acting. It's just underutilizing everything that it probably could have been. Well, not really, because John Carradine was dead for years and Cameron died before this film. And oh my god, at least you could have Bring Stevens in a bigger role. But I don't know. This one, I think it's almost plays off on a more nostalgic feel for myself because I have a long history with this. I've just seen it so many times. It's always a fun time to me, man. It really, really is. I do think it's really atmospheric, though. I think the one thing about Steve Latshaw in this film is that you can tell he tried to make a decent film. He wasn't trying specifically to make a bad film.
Yeah, I prefer that a lot.
Like, honestly, man, there is value to this. Like, and when you look at Jacko, it's not bad. The mask is cool. I like the way it's lit. I like the weapon. He's mean look. It's kind of cool, man. There's some elements to this film that you can say are decent, and I always have a lot of fun with this, so I'm going to come in about a 6.5. It's the same rating I always give it, man. It's fun. It's a bad, fun Halloween film that I do recommend for people that like shit like this. So, Dave.
This is a movie I didn't even rate it on Letterboxd.
I noticed.
I don't really have an opinion. It's just like a movie I'm like, I don't really care. I'm entertained by it, but it's bad. But it's not something that I have an endearment for because it's a first-time watch, so it's not like Flesh Eater, which I think is genuinely great and bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if that's bad. I don't know. I don't know how to rate this. I really don't know how to rate this. Like, what did I give the I Spit on Your Grave remake? I don't like that, and I gave it like a 5.5. So I'll give this a 6 because I enjoy it, but I don't like it. I mean, I don't think it's good.
No,
but I enjoy it.
But that's the thing with me.
It's
like
a 6. 6 is fine, right? Yeah, I'd watch it again.
But that's the thing for me, like when it comes down to films like this, it's like a lot of shot on videos for myself too. Like
Yeah,
a lot
you're
of SOVs, man, are like obviously not really great movies. The production value is really low. That, you know, there's a lot of specs that you're just like, okay. But it's more the fun factor for myself. I really enjoy this film because it runs, I think it runs about 82 minutes before the credits kick in. So it's not like overly long, but I do like the fact that he was trying to make a decent film. You know, at least he had some backstory. I mean, he was ripping off fucking Madman and Pumpkinhead and shit like that, and then everything else that came before it and stuff. But, you know, there's a lot of work that could be done. But I still watch it a lot, and it's fun. So, fun factor, 6.5.
I'm gonna give it a 5, which I think is generous. Like I don't really do the like I don't know. I do like the movie, and I think it is like so bad it's good. But in terms of like pure just like quality, you know, that's where more my rating comes from, and less about the fun factor. But yeah, I mean, I think it's fun for sure.
Like, would you rewatch this sometime, just willingly?
Not like anytime soon, but like since I own it on Blu-ray, I'm definitely rewatch it at some point.
Yeah, I don't expect you to watch it like Christmas time and shit. Like I don't watch, you know.
No, I probably would skip it next Halloween, but like maybe the one after that, I would check it out again.
Maybe even try
I would
with a
definitely
crowd.
watch it with someone else.
Yeah, with a crowd.
Yeah.
Get some beers, watch some
Or
Jacko.
force Carly to watch it so she's pissed at me afterwards.
Act like it's really
Carly
good.
doesn't enjoy the so bad it's good type movies like
She
when I
does
do.
seem a little bit more serious when it comes to her films, man. I like fun shit. Like I like to have fun, and I don't really take a lot of shit too serious. And I think that's the problem with a lot of horror fans, though, too, is that they do take their shit a little bit too serious, so they kind of miss out on maybe what the objective was to just make a fun movie. You know, not every movie's trying to be The Shining. You know,
she also is like someone who.
And I wasn't talking about you, Carly, specifically. I'm just talking about in general.
She's
I was
probably like,
no. I was talking in general because it is something that you notice quite a lot.
Right. Yeah. No, Carly definitely likes some fun horror movies too. I know you weren't specifically talking about her, but I think when it's like ones, she prefers them with a group. But if it's just me and her, she's just going to be like, "Why you make me watch this?"
That's probably what she says every time you pop in a fucking Hammer horror film too. Fucking Hammer horror.
Right.
Fucking Hammer horror. Sucks. Oh, sucks. All right. So, yeah, that's going to conclude Jacko from 1995. All right. So, getting into the final feature here on episode 228, and we're going to take it all the way back to 2018. With a first-time watch for myself. I believe you guys had seen this before. Am I right?
No, I had not.
Oh, you had not seen this. So JP, I know JP had seen this one.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater.
Yeah, and I believe, I think it even was talked about on the show. I don't remember exactly what.
I think me and Jeremy talked about it.
Yeah, I think Jeremy hated it.
I think he liked it.
Did he? He hates slasher films. I couldn't imagine liking this. But anyways, 2018's Hellfest. This is one I remember when it came out. I just had no means of seeing it. Honest to God, this movie never got like a Canadian release. It's so weird. Like even if I look up the Blu-ray, it's like super expensive. It's always imported and stuff. I'm like, it's so fucking random. So I don't know. It's just one of those kind of random titles that just wasn't Canadian friendly, I guess. I don't know. So synopsis. We'll get right into this. A masked serial killer turns a horror-themed amusement park into his own personal playground, terrorizing a group of friends while the rest of the patrons believe that it is all part of the show. So this movie is directed by Gregory Plotkin, and I was like, why do I know that name? He actually ended up directing one of the paranormal films, which was The Ghost Dimension, which is what, part 6? Is that part 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's part 6, but he actually was the editor of Paranormal Activity 2, 3, 4, the marked ones, which is part 5. Yeah, so Ghost Dimension would be part 6. He actually edited Happy Death Day. He actually edited Get Out, which was kind of cool. That's kind of cool. So he's more known as an editor, I guess, really. So he did a film in 2020 called Crimson. I have no idea what that is, but yeah, not much for directing films. Ghost Dimension in this one, basically. So, yeah, so Hellfest. Yeah, like I said, it was a first time watch for myself, and I honestly could not remember what was said about this film at all. So I kind of went into this really kind of blind. All I knew was a slasher set in like a horror themed park, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, it's whatever. It is going to be what it is, kind of thing. I got to do this though. I have to do this because I really think this is funny as hell. And I usually don't do this, but it's just the way my brain works. And so the opening scene happens. Do you guys remember what the opening scene is? It's basically the killer kill. And actually, he has a different mask in the beginning of the film because they're kind of giving a little bit a previous year or whatever. So this has kind of been a reoccurring thing at Hellfest, which is the name of the amusement park. Anyways, so the first kill happens, and I write this down, and I'm just going to read it word for word. And this was a voice message or a voice text or whatever. So I go, I don't ever do this, but I'm going to give my prediction after the opening scene. My prediction, it turns out to just be a mindless slasher with no connection to any of the victims, no backstory, and the killer's identity will never be revealed. And he lives in the end. That was my prediction on the movie.
I mean, is that a bad thing though? I mean, the movie doesn't ever hide what it is.
No, I just thought it was absolutely fucking.
It is strange though that you immediately called the movie's tone and the ending. But
I just had this feeling the way that thing was shot, like the way that scene was shot, and I was like, okay, and I just wrote that, and like this thing ended, and I was like, holy flying fuck, like, and it did, you know, and honest to God, it did not ruin it for me. I actually really enjoyed Hellfest. I thought it was actually really fun.
This is a really solid ass movie, and it's very entertaining for being a big mainstream movie. It's just like it's very rare that you get to see a big, expensive movie with good sound design and good sets and just fairly good acting and decent kills. And this kind of it's rare. It's a rare kind of movie for this time. A solid slasher that takes itself serious. Come on now.
It really does take itself serious, and I like I like the pacing in this movie too, because it didn't really give you. It doesn't get into like, you know, building up all these characters for the first hour of the film and stuff. It basically, you know, this girl, she's meeting up with her best friend and stuff. She's in town and they get right to the fucking amusement park like right away. I like that. And then we kind of get introduced to our characters and then shit starts going down. But like, that's where this movie shines, is the design of the film. Like it's shot so well. It's lit so well. It's very, very inspired by Italian cinema.
Great.
Yeah, it sounds good. It fucking looks good.
How was your sound surround on this? The surround sound was great on mine.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. But what took me back, though, right away, and why I got into this movie right away, was the way it was shot and lit. It looked so fucking good, and it was lit so well. And it just instantly reminded me, I was like, wow. Like, my first note is like, wow, you're taking some fucking pages out of Italian cinema here, just with, you know, the color palette, right? Like the blues and greens and reds and stuff like that. And I just love the way when movies are lit like that. And then go figure that we get a total Fulci fucking shout out in the film too, which is really cool. And I was like, damn, you know, obviously he's a fan of Italian cinema. I would assume so, right? How could you not be?
I really enjoy this movie, but I have one negative that I think is kind of just something that I was just like, why?
Could have had better kills.
Yes, because here's what it is.
Okay, I have a problem.
Amazing set pieces.
I have a problem with this
you have everything. Set pieces are so well done and everything, and you have all these ideas and these trinkets and everything around to kill people in amazing ways. Yet you kill two people in the same scene with a gut shot that's barely there. Only complain about the movie. Everything else was really good, and I enjoyed it.
Dude, that's almost word for word written out of my phone in my notes.
I mean, we're probably all on the same page on this movie.
Dude,
we probably all like it, except we just better.
I'm actually surprised that you guys.
I was full.
There's nothing wrong with it,
dude. The production I just loved what they did with the with the haunts and stuff. Everything looked really cool. Yeah.
Like I said,
it's all great.
It sounds great. It fucking looks great.
Haunts and shit.
It's edited well. It's paced. There's nothing wrong with this film at all. And I like the way this thing goes down. I like the way it starts. I like the way he changes his masks, which I still don't even know what the fuck the main mask is. Is that a zombie or is that a burnt face mask or whatever it is? It's creepy. It's cool. I don't really know what the fuck it is. But my biggest complaint, and I don't want to read it off my notes, but is, first of all, you have a setup here to potentially have a fucking massive body count, which is also a fail. There's only 6 kills. There's only 6 kills in this movie. One of them is part of the backstory in the beginning of the scene. We get a random kill about 30 minutes into the film, which has nothing to do with the group of friends. We have 6 main characters in this movie. 4 of them get killed. 2 of them Dave just mentioned in one scene, which is ridiculous because they totally set it up to have such a great kill, and then it never went down like that. And 2 of them get killed in the same scene by gut shots. But there is 2 good kills, and I'm not going to ruin. One of them is a faulty shutout, hands down. Hands down. And the other one actually reminded me of the scene from the third Mothers film from Argento with
which one?
With the mallet. Just the way
the mallet. The mallet's is a great death. That's the best death in the movie.
Yeah. Well, if you guys,
for me at least.
Well, I know JP knows. I don't know if you know this, but like I have this like eye phobia thing. Like I don't know why I'm so obsessed with it. It's weird that I guess it's kind of coincidental, maybe ironic that I'm a huge Fulci fan and he has this thing with fucking mutilating people's eyes all the time and shit. But I mean, like I said though, like from the lighting, right away I was like, it has this Italian feel, and then we get that kill, which I thought was just fucking brutal, man. I was like, oh god. But again, there was 2 really good standout kills in this film. Body count was only 6 when you have tons of people that could have been killed. Tons.
And you have tons of sets. Tons of sets where you can massacre people in amazing ways.
Dude, so many good setups. Like, I mean, those haunts were so cool looking. You could have done so much more with that shit. And it was such a disappointment in that aspect. And I couldn't fucking believe it that there was only 6 kills in the movie. I was like, that is crazy to me. Crazy with this type of setup. Like, that's the type of low body count you get when you have a bunch of teams that go to the forest and there's like 6 people, right?
That's like a Nightmare on Elm Street body count.
But even then, they always have those kills where, you know, the cops show up and then some random hick shows up and gets killed, and then they just keep bringing in the body count, right? But this movie, they never did that. It's kind of a shame. But again, going back to my prediction, which is totally a spoiler, but the thing is, it didn't ruin for me. I actually really, really fucking like everything and how this thing went down. I thought the last shot in the film was like, what the fuck? And then instantly when the movie ended, I was like, they're setting this shit up to be a fucking, you know, have a sequel, maybe even become like a franchise type thing, because that's just what it is, right? You can do a lot with it then.
You know, I really only have one other thing to say. You know, like, I enjoyed it. It was good. I think if you took some aspects of the movie Haunt and put them in here, I think you got yourself a great movie of combining both of those. Take the best elements of both, and you have yourself like a 10 out of 10. Like, I think you really could, because I really like Haunt, and I like this. So I'm just like, maybe if you have some, just like maybe the production design of this with Haunt, kind of the killers and the kills. I think Haunt was just a little bit more nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm starting to think that you stole my phone, Dave, because I wasn't the hugest fan of Haunt, but I actually fucking have I was like, man, you know, you take the good parts that I liked from Haunt and you mix this in there, and oh my god, dude, that's like exactly what I was thinking.
It's so funny. Me and you are dead on the same on this movie.
Dude, it is really weird. It's really fucking freaking me out right now.
I also agree with everything you guys are saying as well.
Yeah.
That was like literally, I think when I reviewed this back in 2018 or something, that my only issue really with it. Well, first of all, let me just say this. This movie plays really well in a theater as well.
I bet,
man.
We went with a group, and it was a lot of fun. Like, Carly really liked it. I really liked it. I forget who all we went with, but we all ended up enjoying it. But at the end of the day, like, the only thing I was like, man, that this movie could have been like a next tier up had it had like a lot of like cool kills, or even just not even a lot, but just like more. Also, Bear McCreary did the score on this.
It's just a shame to me, because there's so much opportunity in this, right? Like we said, you know, to have those elevated, awesome kills or a huge body count, and it just doesn't happen. So in a sense, it's like such a disappointment. But you know, I what we got, I'm still happy with. I just feel like this could have been so much better. Such a shame. It's such a shame, and it just kind of makes me a little bit angry though. But I don't know what they were thinking. They just didn't want to. Maybe they didn't want to make it more violent because they wanted a theatrical. I have no idea what goes through these filmmakers' minds and stuff. But
yeah, you know, I always kind of wonder that too. You know, because like, I don't think this. I mean, nowadays, dude, you can do a lot with an R rating. You know what I mean? Like, you can get away with a lot of stuff with this was R, right? It had to be, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah. like they definitely could have went a little harder with the rating and not lost the R. So I don't know, you know, and you know, you never know with like studios and stuff as well. Who the hell knows, you know?
You know, I always talk about how much I'm not a big jump scare fan, but the way they didn't overdo it with jump scares in this film at all. But the few jump scares that they did have in the film, I was totally cool with because they made sense. They were in the right context. You're in a fucking haunt. It's all about jump scares, right? You're in a situation where it's all about those type of scares and things like that. So I had no problem with that. And I was like, wow, for once, jump scares actually made a lot of fucking sense, right? And I was glad that they didn't overdo it with that shit because they had potential again to be like around every single corner, like rah, 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 right. You know, just fucking just overdo it with that shit. Which surprising, I was shocked that it didn't happen that way. So I give him kudos for that. I really actually respect that.
Just last week, I went to my local theme park, Kennywood, and they do like their Fall Fest, which used to be called Phantom Fright Night, but it's literally this, you know, like it's just a bunch of like haunt stuff and like people walking around with like, you know, axes and stuff. And so this movie was like perfect to watch this week because I had just done, you know, went to a haunt theme park. And I think that's such a cool setting for a movie. And
yeah, me too.
I mean, we mentioned it with Child's Play 3. Like, I love carnival and haunt type stuff for horror movies. And actually, I just finished Stephen King's Joyland this week too, which is literally a book that takes place at a fucking theme park. I have it sitting
right in front of me. That's funny you mentioned that. It's crazy. Yeah, the wife is actually going to read it. And that's something that we've talked about on the podcast over the years many, many times about films that are set in, you know, carnivals and these type of haunts and stuff. And a lot of them don't utilize that setting as much as they should in the film. Where this one, like, it feels like they really did. They maximized the setting as much as they could. And it really does feel like you're in there, you know, as a viewer and stuff like that, because they're like, I can't think of movies specifically, but like, oh, it's set at a carnival, but then it doesn't feel like you're there at all. You know, where this one,
you definitely can feel the chaos in this movie too.
Yeah,
like you could feel the people around you, and you could see why somebody could sneak in here and just, you know, pick off a couple people and sneak right the fuck out. And the scene with that security guard is really well done.
The security guard is really well done because like his argument for them freaking out and shit made complete fucking sense. He's like, bro, I get like complaints this all night because this is their job, is to scare fucking people. Like, what am I supposed to do about it? Arrest him for doing his job?
And he can't even find him. They can't even find him, so he can't do nothing anyways.
Yeah. I mean, that's like everybody looks like.
Well, that was kind of part of that reveal too, where it also like that was the mask that was being utilized by the employees too, right? And all of a sudden there's like 10 or 12 or 15 of these people, and it's like, oh shit, yeah, like these people are crazy. They're running from these guys doing their job, kind of thing. And then I think
like whenever.
I mean, sorry, I will say, you know, the stabbing scene, I do have a little bit of problems with that because like I feel like this guy he's utilizing his time in space, and he's being sneaky about what he's doing until he's really not being sneaky about it. You know what I mean? It just seemed like it was just like, okay, I'm going to show all my cards right now in front of like 10,000 fucking people out here, and I'm just going to stab it. And then the whole place erupts into chaos kind of thing. I kind of have a problem with that. Like, I didn't really like how that shit went down, let alone the weakness of the kills too. I mean, you're just going to go and stab and kill two main characters in one fucking scene. But I just felt like to show all your cards at that moment. But then again, if you look at the flip side of the argument though too, he's got that mask, and at this point people have realized that, you know, there's like 14 or 15 other people too. You can kind of blend into the whole damn crowd too. So I guess there is an argument for that too.
I think also, like, if you're gonna end the situation, like creating mass chaos is probably gonna help you get away really easy.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a good point to make right there too. So totally. But I just, you know, it's I mean, if that's your point, is to create mass chaos, that's totally fucking awesome. I just, at first when it happened, I was like, oh shit, you're just gonna do that? And the whole place is going fucking buck wild now, man. It was nuts.
Yeah. But actually, weirdly enough, like 2 weeks before I went to this theme park, there was a shooting there, and it went into like mass chaos.
Oh, really? Crazy.
You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, like, I mean, and like obviously they couldn't even find the dude who did it like right away because of the fact that like everybody was everywhere, like running to get out, you know?
Right. Another thing I noticed in this film that you guys probably did not notice, but there's a scene where one of the characters, I can't remember what the fucking guy's name is, Paxton, or the boyfriend, fuck that disappeared.
Gavin?
Yeah, is it Gavin? Yeah, so he goes, I think he was the guy that was doing the ball toss and stuff like that and ended up losing all his money and shit like that. The
guy that sucks.
So anyways, in that scene where he's throwing the balls and they're shooting the guns and stuff like that, there's a song that's playing in the background, part of the soundtrack, and it's by Czarface. It's off the Czarface and MF Doom, one of the Czarface MF Doom albums called Throw Bomb. And I was like, why the fuck is this song in this movie? Like,
I remember that. I like that song
I can't fucking believe that I was hearing that in this mainstream. I'm like, how the fuck did this song get into the soundtrack? Like, I was blown away. And
somebody had to be a fan.
Dude, so crazy. Because, like, Zarf, like, people know Doom and Zarf, like, they're like bigger underground. But the point is, this was like a mainstream movie. Like, they made a point of getting this song and putting it into the film. And people like me, I was like, holy shit, that's really fucking cool. And it just elevated for me. I was like, oh, that's so damn cool to hear that in a movie. And I was like, oh, neat. Yes, I used the word neat. But
it is neat.
Yeah, it was just different. It was totally different, man. So I gotta say though, man, I did laugh at the Brundlefly part though. Like, it's just so fucking random, dude. The fucking fly character comes flying out of nowhere and just like spits on her fucking shirt. I'm just like, oh man, that was awesome.
That was pretty goofy.
It was goofy because it's literally out of left field. Like, why did they even do? I guess it was to get them into the bathroom though, right? I guess that's kind of the setup to get them in the bathroom. But I laughed at that. It's kind of funny. But no, I mean, all in all, man, Hellfest, there's not really a lot more to report on it. It's a fun film. I'm actually quite surprised. I don't know how it did at the box office. I never really look up the numbers and stuff, but I would like to see a sequel. It didn't do like
amazing, but it did decent. It made money.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see a sequel. I mean, I thought the killer looked creepy. But I mean, if you're going to do a sequel, you got to up your kills, up the ante, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I actually really like the ending too. Like, just works for me.
It's
very simple.
It's very diabolical.
But effective.
It's very diabolical in what happens. Like the very last shot. To me, I was like, that's crazy.
Very legit serial killer shit.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I feel like hating on directors that try to humanize killers, but sometimes it works.
Well, it's also scary because a lot of these killers have like an everyday life that they go back to.
Dahmer.
Right.
Well, they have the
mask. I mean, you have
on.
to, right? Yeah. Like most of the time, you have to have a regular life.
Yeah.
Casey, you know, he managed like a fucking KFC
blending in is the best fucking disguise.
Yeah. Well, also, just like Decker says in Nightbreed, we all have a secret face.
Yep.
It's true.
Yeah. All right. So,
and some people's secret face just happens to be other people's faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Leatherface.
Leatherface. Nice.
Ratings?
Yeah.
My first on this one?
Yeah, you go first.
7. It's a good movie. That's a good rating. That means I liked it. Would watch it again. Would recommend it. Would watch it with a group of people that are more like not hardcore horror fans. It's a great movie to put on at a Halloween party. I don't think anybody would not enjoy this movie.
I don't think there's been a movie that we've ever reviewed on here that we were so insanely similar on, but I exactly have it as a 7. It's totally the same reason, because I thought it was solid. I thought there was room for improvement, but it's really effective in what it does, and it's fun. It was fun, so it's good. It's a good movie. I definitely rewatch it too.
Yeah, and myself, I believe I gave it a 7 when I seen it the first time, and I continue to give it a 7. So it's
7s
just
all around.
We're all on the same page at all three of these fucking. We've been hanging around each other too much. Same fucking ratings.
You know, the one thing that we actually didn't bring up is the Tony Todd cameo in this too.
Oh yeah, Tony.
Yeah,
Todd. Yeah. Good old Tony Todd.
That motherfucker's in so many franchises.
When I was watching the credits roll, and I was like, and it's like, and Tony Todd, and I'm like, oh, I'm thinking, oh, we're gonna be at this haunt, this kind of carnival thing. And I'm like, he's got to be playing some kind of specific character, and yeah, sure shit.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's in Hatchet, he's in Candyman, he's in Final Destination, he's in the Night of the Living Dead remakes. That's a franchise. He's in lots of shit, man.
Yeah, he makes a lot of cameos. I think that Tony Todd's one of those guys. I feel like he. You know, he's just, you want to get him in your. I think he might be not cheap, maybe, to do cameos. I don't know, but they want him because he's effective in everything, right? So if I
he has a presence about him. I mean,
he does.
His voice and his just his vibe. You know, it's great for horror.
Yeah, he's got a good demeanor.
Yeah, the only Candyman. The only Candyman.
I like
He's a damn good Candyman. I'll tell you that.
It's a voice, man. Tony Todd's got an amazing voice, but it's his look too. He's present. He's kind of scary. He's big.
Yeah, I actually, where was I? He was just at somewhere where I was at. There was a convention.
Yeah, I've never met him before.
I didn't actually meet him, but he was there. So
I'd like to meet him.
Does he do a lot of conventions?
Too. Yeah, he does a lot of conventions.
Does he? Because, man, it's funny.
He used to. I don't know if he does now, but...
Yeah, he's definitely one of those guys that could probably just show up at every convention and have a huge line at his table all the time. He's in so much
honestly,
shit.
I know it's like really far from Moodz, but Dave, you should come to the Living Dead weekend convention.
When's that?
They do one in June, July-ish.
Well, thing is, we want to see the Moreauville Mall. Me and some of my friends and some of the people I'm around out here want to go see the mall, and we want to check out the mall for sure. I've always wanted to.
Dave, do you go to other conventions around
Not
there?
really.
Yeah.
No, because I always spend money and shit too much, so I keep it you know.
I go to really 3 now. The Gettysburg one is very similar to Cinema Wasteland. Like, just the layout and the vibe of it, very similar.
Sweet. All right. Well, I guess that's going to wrap up First Show Back, episode 228, Halloween, Viewer's Choice, volume, I don't know. It'll be on the thumbnail. Yep. Can't remember what it is.
You guys can read. Hopefully.
Yeah, y'all can read. We've done a lot. So next up is Italian month, like we mentioned in the beginning of the podcast. So be on the lookout for that. I know a lot of people always look forward to Italian Horror Month, as we do also.
Absolutely.
So stay tuned for those. And we'll be back very, very soon. I think that's it. Got nothing else?
That's it. Nothing else.
No.
All right,
Sorry,
man.
I had bronchitis.
I was going to ask if you had COVID.
No, I'm pretty sure I took a COVID test. I have some bronchitis, I think.
I feel like I'm actually starting to get sick too, and Carly is sick with a fever right now, so.
Oh, maybe that's COVID. Fever.
Yeah.
That might be COVID.
Man, I haven't had a fever since I was like a child. It's crazy.
You managed to miss COVID?
I never got it.
I don't think I got a fever with COVID.
I literally haven't had.
That's like the only thing I had.
The only times I ever get fucking I've had food poisoning 4 or 5 times in my life, which is fucking. I find that is the most brutal thing ever to have happened to you. But I don't really get colds a lot. It's crazy. I do eat healthy. I work out. I don't really get sick a lot. It's crazy.
I got sick because I was out in the fucking middle of the night, cold, staying up all night, fucking at a bar and stupid shit.
Yeah,
being dumb.
You were fucking at a bar? That
could have been.
Close.
Yeah. All right, man. So we're out of here, man. Check you guys in the next episode. Deuces.
That's all, folks.